We're rolling.
You did a worst, too?
It's just the part.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nerdbuzzed.
Nerdbuzzed doesn't condone the consumption of alcohol by any persons under the age of 21. Please drink responsibly.
You're a worst, alright. You are, SD.
Yeah. Welcome to Nerdbuzzed, the podcast where we talk about all the nerdy stuff that we care about and drink a cool frosty brew while we're doing it. I'm your host, Marcus Ellinger, and with me as always,
Jeremiah Johnson.
and he's back out of the intern camp.
Ow.
Jack.
Jack Hughs, he's
I don't know why I
back.
decided to do that.
He's
Sounds like
back.
those things from...
We don't know why he
Star
decides to
Wars.
do anything.
Episode 8.
Anything.
Yeah. You don't even
I'm
try
sure
and know
there's
me.
Right? But before we completely finish our bashing of Jack for the year, let's go over to Jay.
For the brews.
That's right.
Well, it's the year in review. It's our favorite of the favorites.
That's true.
And since my favorite wasn't available...
My favorite wasn't available. Our second favorite, Collective, wasn't available. But I did go with a favorite from the year.
Okay. I also went with a favorite from the
There
year.
you go. I think that's all that matters. We're
Okay.
still. Let's just call them favorites.
All right.
There's no level of less or more favorite. They're just all favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will name the one that I wanted.
Okay.
And
Lay it on
that was the Leo versus Adversus.
Do you remember the score you gave it?
I don't remember the score I gave it.
Leo versus. It's from Firestone, and I gave it an 8.5. You gave it a 9.
Okay.
And that was on our elusive bonus episode.
Nice.
I don't know what number it was because it's just a bonus. It's like a 0.5 number somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Before we get to the ones we have, I'll run through what the elusive beers we could not find were.
Okay.
Your actual number one that you gave the highest score to was the Refuse IPA from
Refuge.
Erez. Refuge. Oh, sorry. That's
Not
auto.
Refuse.
That's autocorrect. I guess.
It is not Refuse. I rated it higher than that.
Yeah. Pardon me. Excuse me.
Which is, by the way, my favorite brewery right now.
Is it the Arizona Wilderness?
Arizona Wilderness Springs.
Okay, so the weird thing about that is I went to our little bottle shop, and I went to like every place
You're not gonna
locally
find
here
it.
I could
They don't
find to
ship
find it. And I asked the, that's the one that you brought in the
Yeah.
growler, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't bring in a growler. I actually smuggled the can. I smuggled the cans.
I remember the cans, and they were actually dated like really close to the
Yeah,
date
because
you
they're
got 'em.
crowlers.
Yeah. And I asked the lady in there, she's like, I've never even heard of that brewery. I don't know what it is. At the local bottle shop, I was like, well, that gives up hope on that if you've never heard of it. But it was the Refuge IPA from Arizona Wilderness Brewing. You gave it a 9.5. That was the highest review you gave all year. Mm-hmm. I gave it an 8.5. Also a totally complimentary review. And that's on episode 61, if you'd like to go back and check that out. My highest rated beer was Founders Porter. I also could not find this anywhere.
Really?
I found other Founders beers a stout right now. Is what's out
Hagen's
everywhere.
is where I got the porter
Yeah,
before.
they have the stout. They have the stout.
Okay.
Bottle Shop has the stout. QFC has the stout. Apparently, it's stout season and not porter season. So
Okay.
I couldn't find it.
Well, I know the porter is part of their year-round mix, though. So
I don't know.
it's just whoever their distributors bring in, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I tried. If it would have been me, it would have been there. It would have been
Yeah.
way too much of it, probably, or not enough because I drank it all. One of the two. But I gave that one an 8.95. You gave it an 8.75.
Nice.
So again, really good scores on that. That was from episode 86.
Yeah, that was a real good beer. I liked that one a lot.
Yep.
86?
Yeah. 86.
My first episode.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's in one of my lists of things here. And then the last one, because I think that we should comment on it, is that the worst beer we reviewed for the year was the Kitty Cat Blues.
Oh, God, that was awful.
It was so bad. Like, was it made with catnip?
It was
What
made
the
with
deal?
catnip.
And it
They had
tasted
actual
like
catnip.
What?
It
Yes.
tasted
That's
like
disgusting.
it was. It totally was. It lived up to the name. It gets some credit for completely being what they advertised it as, but that credit only amounts to a 4.5 from Jay and a 4 from me. That's episode 73 if you want to go and check it out. You can check out all of our reviews and all of our episodes on nerdbuzz.com, where you can listen to any episode 100% free, as opposed to...
Any other percentage free.
That's right. Also, click like and subscribe, please, if we entertain you in any way. It really helps us sleep at night.
It's like, you said like enti, so I was like, oh, like a tree.
Yeah. Also, if you want, should I go with garb? Is that the new word for it?
Garb.
If you want some new garb, go to some Nerd Garb. go to Patreon, Nerdbuzzed, $35. You can get a t-shirt, magnet, stickers. You can put them on your car, guaranteed an extra 5 horsepower. So
whatever sticker does
on your car. If you wear the shirt, you get an extra 5 horsepower.
When you get sued, I'm out.
You're I put it on the dyno, man. Calibrate that shit.
Did you run a baseline before you put the sticker on?
Yeah, right. See, come on. We learned about that on the previous episode. You must measure before and after.
Yes.
Yeah. So put the sticker on there and don't measure before. The other, as far as beer goes, I'm going to wrap it up here, I swear. I do think it's important to mention that this was our year of really sampling mead.
Yes.
I kind of fell in love with mead.
Well, I was talking about it, and you're like, I never really had it. I had it once a long time ago. I don't even know what it is.
It's because Jay was telling me, and I don't listen to what he says.
Wow.
It's sad because it's true. It's not true at all. I love you, Jay. Yes, and you were the first person to introduce it to me. I completely give you 100% credit for introducing me to mead. I'm really grateful that you did because I really enjoy mead.
Yeah, and you introduced me to somebody who's freaking awesome with mead.
That's right. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I will say the drawback to mead, at least for me, is that mead's really sweet because it's made from honey.
Well, it can be.
It seems to settle in my stomach like it is sweet. Like I don't. It's not something.
Regardless.
Yeah, like kind of regardless.
Like a you problem.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
probably
it does
is.
sound like a you problem.
Like most of my problems. And also, the other beer that we really enjoyed this year, I think, and a brewery that we enjoyed exposing ourselves to was Rogue.
Rogue's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
I like Rogue.
we did a whole month of Rogue. We tried Rogue with ice cream. That was the first time I've ever done that.
That was actually pretty good, too.
I thought it was pretty good also, so I give them a lot of credit. Their Old Crustacean was also one that we really enjoyed. You gave it an 8.25. I gave it an 8. That was episode 68. That brings us to our beers that we're drinking today. I'm going to segue into it. I'm drinking the Rogue Cold Brew IPA.
Now, the cold brew, wasn't that technically last year?
I don't think so. No, because this year was the year of Rogue.
Was it?
Yeah, no, I wrote it down here. I'm pretty sure. Yep, Cold Brew was episode 64.
Okay.
From this year.
Okay.
I gave it an 8. You gave it a 7.
All right.
Yep. Because we did the whole month of Rogue.
Yeah,
that was
right.
This year.
Okay.
I think that the Cold Brew was one of the ones that, I forget.
It was the first one we had.
And I think he gave it to us, the rep. Wasn't it one of the ones he gave us?
Yes, he gave us the cold brew. We had to go pick an extra one up.
Yeah, he gave us that, the Hazelutely Chalktabulous, right? Which is the one we had with ice cream.
That's a terrible name.
It's terrible, but it's actually pretty good with ice cream. It's better with ice cream almost than it is on its own.
Than the orchestration.
Yeah. So big props to him. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, and then I picked up the 4-hop, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the other cold brew to round us out.
Yeah. Yep. So I went with the cold brew. I'm hoping it has that awesome, like, iced coffee quality that I really enjoyed the first time. I haven't had it since then.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious to try it again. We'll see if I still care for it. The full-on 8 that I gave it the first time.
Yeah. I might have to steal just a little.
A little bit of it?
Little taste.
Oh, okay. You can just have it.
No, I just want taste.
No, you can. You don't have to steal it. You can have it. I'll just give it to you. You don't have to steal it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We're gonna get to you, Jack.
Oh, what? No, I'm just sitting here.
So before you drink that, what did you bring to the table as your favorite from 2017?
Literally bring to the table.
Right? Hey yo.
Oh my god.
No,
Anyway.
yeah, I'm not hitting them today.
Right?
So, went back to the mead, to the Essir Meadery out of Everett. This is a bottle I have actually been saving since that last mead episode we did with Dan. It's the one we didn't get to, and it was one of my favorite ones, which is the citrus.
Oh, nice.
And I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and figured, well, now's the perfect time because we didn't have the one that I wanted to.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Where's my shot glass so I can steal some of yours? Right? Come on. Fair is fair. We're all about equality on Nerdbuzzed.
You can steal more than some of that.
All right. Should I just put some in there and give it back to you and then just take the bottle?
Sure.
Let's just do that.
That works.
Be that guy. It's going to be a good episode.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what we're drinking. What are you drinking, Jack?
I am drinking today the first things I drank on episode 86. The last episode, 102, I believe. I drank the cock and bowl that I had on. It was the second thing I drank. I gave that a 7.5, and I'm also gonna slam that down, and then drink the Henry Schweinhard's classic root beer.
Hey, is it the gourmet one?
Yeah,
'Cause of the
it's
difference.
Gourmet. No, well, yeah, it says gourmet on here.
Okay.
Gourmet. Yeah.
It says right on the label.
I guess
Clear as day.
the root beer scores aren't on the website yet, but I did make a list a while ago, and my favorites from there were the Soda Boy Caramel Cream and the Dad's root beer, both of them sitting in an 8. And then the worst ones were the Teddy's root beer, which I gave a 3, and then the Balls.
The balls are the worst, but Dad's was up there,
Yeah,
which is like a
Dad's was
generic of the generics, right?
good. Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I think that's
I think it hit all the right notes. One of these days, I want to review A&W just because I find myself always gravitating towards that for parties, which is really weird because it's generic, but I drink it and I'm still like, this is pretty good.
when I was a kid. The classic A&W was the cream soda for me. Like
Which
that
is-
was my
which
go-to
is
cream
also-
soda.
Yeah,
Because I don't like cream soda, so
Yeah.
sounds like a you problem.
it
Yeah,
is.
right? We're full of
And
us
I'm
problems.
more than okay with not
Yeah,
liking
yeah.
cream soda.
So we've already had them, but let's cheers it out there for the nerds, right?
To all the nerds,
Which one do I grab? There's
Yeah.
so many booze in front of me.
To all the nerds.
Through all the fuzz,
bottoms up, let's get nerd buzzed.
Clankety clankety.
Oh, bottom to top.
Oh god, that's exactly what I remember it being like.
It's gonna be harder to slam this than I thought. Ginger beer is
Yeah,
not
me too. This
easier to slam.
I really like this beer. I really like this beer a lot. It's amazing how much the maybe we should have done the same ones, right? So we could have talked about them, but I love how much coffee there is in this, but it's so like iced coffee. I really, because to me, hot coffee is a little bit more abrasive. I'm not as big of a fan of it. Early in the morning, I think it's great, like as a wake up kind of thing. But other than that, I'd much rather have like an iced coffee, like any other
Yeah.
time in the day. That's what I'd want.
Like a Starbucks.
I just like iced coffee.
No.
My
I just
frap.
Dude, I got a new cold brewed maker. Freaking awesome.
yeah.
It's a Dash Rapid cold brew.
Yeah.
Got it on Indiegogo for $49.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We have
Definitely,
the
it's definitely the first iteration of this product though, because there's a couple of definite flaws.
like,
in the
do
design.
I sense a review in the future?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of which is, I don't consider myself weak, but getting the damn lid off this thing is a pain in the rear.
yeah.
I even handed it to my freaking roommate, and he's like, "How do you do this?" He sat there for like a half an hour, just like, just messing with it, and I think he loosened it up for me because I got a hold of it right off. And
Does it make that sweet noise too?
yes, it does.
Awesome. Okay, that's okay then. That's like proof
Maybe
that
it's like
sealed, right?
airtight though.
Yeah.
It's what it is it's got one of those silicone rubber seals against plastic. So that seal sticks to the plastic, and you have to get it to break.
It'll loosen up over time.
It doesn't.
Weird.
I don't know.
We have
Wait,
the
and also
I'm
if
just
it
gonna-
gets wet too, the silicone would be like
I think I'm gonna.
stickier.
I haven't tried oiling it yet. I'm gonna just get some mineral oil and just put a little
some
mineral oil.
WD on there.
See if they yell at me.
Or WD.
Yeah.
I think mineral oil would be probably better, but
Whoa, look at this.
Oh, he's learned.
he's learning. But
This
it's still
is also something from 2017. Trying to
He's
teach
getting
Jack
better.
how to pour, and that is better.
It is
It's
better.
a dramatic improvement.
yeah,
It is. It is. So how's your
That's
mead?
pretty good.
The mead, it's exactly like what I remember. It has so much of the hive flavors that I love, and that's something that the last couple of his meads have been lacking. They've been finished out a lot more. They don't have quite as much of the waxy bee flavors,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Shoves those bees right in there.
yeah,
Well, it's honey.
bees.
It's made from honey. I think it's okay if it tastes
Yeah.
like it. Right? Yeah.
but this one has a lot more of the waxy hive flavors. Then the citrus definitely brings the tart back to it. It has that citrusy tartness to it, and it's just a great balance of sweet and tart.
Yeah. I just tried to sip mine. I think it does have some of that waxy for sure to it. It has a little bit of the alcohol flavor to it.
A little.
Yeah. Not
This-
overly
this-
abrasive.
This is the semi-dry. This is not the.
Oh, that probably helps that out. I would say this is not my favorite of the meads that he did.
See, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think the ones above this one are the coffee ones.
The coffees were amazing. And I actually also really enjoyed that the coffee meads were they still have the caffeine in them.
Yes.
Those are my late night nerd out on games, like Friday, Saturday night. I drank like half a bottle of coffee mead and stayed up till like 3 a.m.
So the coffee meads, he sells them in those $3.75 bottles, and I told him I will pay extra for the big bottle. I don't care. I just want the big bottle.
Yeah.
So next time he does them, he's going to make me a couple big bottles.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
But every time I sit down with it, I dirty a glass, and he gives me a hard time because I finish the bottle every time I sit down with those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I still have the dandelion mead we need to finish.
Okay, I'm into it. Let's do
Well,
it.
you told me to save it.
Yep, no, I'm into it. I'm into it. So sample your cold brew IPA. Give me an impression real quick.
Cold brew IPA.
From Rogue. By the way, the meads are from Acer.
Acer.
I can't say it, but
like you're from Canada.
Acer.
Acer.
But you can go to acermeadery.com. AESIR meadery.com. It's so worth checking out. Eric is a super cool guy. You get to go and check out. You can go walk right up to his meadery. He will totally give you a bunch of samples. Really, really cool dude. Worth checking out. Check it out.
Yeah, it's totally just a real mild, mellow, carbonated cold brew.
Right? It really is. It still kind of has that IPA quality to it, but at the same time, it has that.
It's got the IPA tart.
Yeah, and it balances so well with the coffee. I'm really, after doing that month of Rogue, I really came away with this new appreciation for it. Like I think I said in the episode when we had the barley wine one, which one? The old crustacean. When we had that, I ended up saying that like one of the coolest things about Rogue is that they advertise what the beer is, and then when you drink it, it's that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like they just say what it is, and it is that. It's really cool.
So many breweries, and I think they're just following the wine trend of it has this with notes of raisin and all blah blah blah. And they're throwing all this stuff out there, which nobody's going to taste that. Nobody gets that out of it. Rogue, their descriptions aren't quite as deep, but what they say is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of them as a bad brewery, but they really have stepped up on my list. I think they're really quality products with it.
Yeah, you know the other one that was real spot on with their description like that was the finger gun.
Yeah. Do we have that with Benny, right? The Benny episode?
Yep, the Benny episode.
Yep. So, what do you think of your root beer there, Jack? We're coming back to you. You're part of the show.
My nice little taste. Sorry, I was just looking up all the PS Plus games because I didn't realize that we were in our Nerdplay favorites. But
even though I sent it to him in a text.
Yes.
He's the worst at responding to text, by the way. That's something I've learned in 2017 is Jack sucks at responding to text.
It's because every time you send me text, I had a D&D party, so I was super busy, even though most of my friends showed up late. Shout out to Cody for showing up on time. I don't know. This is...
To your credit, you always show up on time. You get props for that. He doesn't respond in a text on time, but he shows up on time.
So are you that girlfriend? You didn't text me back in 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard to...
If you were, you'd have like 15 more follow-up texts. Why aren't you responding? Because that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
This, it tastes... It's hard to put a finger on it. Like, it leaves really quick. It might just be because of the ginger combating with it. And then I think they're is cleansing my palate first, and then I'm going to have that aftertaste. But it doesn't stay long. It just kind of boosts out, which I'm like, eh. And it's hard to get a really good feel for it. I mean, it's good, but it just kind of feels like a little average, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on how this one tastes, really.
All right. Well, you got an episode to figure it out.
Yeah. But I don't want to slam through it.
You don't have to text it to me, so I'm sure we'll get it on time. Oh my God. So before we dive into our full list of favorites from 2017, I think it's important to note some firsts for Nerdbuzzed. One of the firsts is episode 62, which is our pregame for the Logan movie, is our very first video
and
cast
the Horizon
ever.
hype, I believe.
That was the cell phone.
Also Horizon hype.
Yeah.
That was cell phone?
That was the cell phone recorded one, wasn't it?
With the really small
No, we used
table.
really small table. It's like we look so awkward and weird, not like now at all. And it's pretty hilarious to watch a few minutes of it. That might be all that you can stand, but it's funny to go back and check it out and see where we are today. But this was the first year we did that. Before that was only audio. And also this year was our first actual live radio show appearance.
Yeah, that's our first guest appearance on somewhere else.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
we got to be on Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie, which is on 11/15 11:50. Is that right?
11:50, yeah.
11:50.
Every
Every
Friday.
Friday.
Terrible person.
KKNW.
Yep.
Am I remembering all this right?
Yes, KKNW.
And that was episode 75. You want to check that out? Dina, super cool. She also introduced us to Van Connor, the bass player of the Screaming Cheese and other bands. That's the one he's more known for.
Yep.
And he came on, and he was our first actual, pseudo-celebrity guest, right? Mm-hmm. And we had our classic Lucas versus Snyder debate, which
Yeah.
actually was fun. And we
was
all
fun.
got pretty buzzed. So that was a good
we
one.
did.
That was a first for us. And we also did our first, I already mentioned it, our first beer in ice cream,
Yes.
which was episode 65 with the Hazelutely Chalktabulous.
Which worked out really well.
It really did. Don't be discouraged to try that. If you have a really sweet, little bit maybe thicker, richer beer, try it with some ice cream.
Yeah.
Live on the edge. Live
Totally.
dangerous, people. The other one we had, another first for us this past year was we had our first on-location show, which was one of Jack's first appearances. Pseudo appearances.
It
You
was
were
my
there,
first
but you were in the background.
audio. It was my first time like tinkering with audio, and the second episode of that, I watched it and I couldn't pinpoint when the guy walked in.
Oh, yeah, we had the guy
guy
from the alley.
I feel so bad about that.
Who obviously did too much of something.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needed
that
to,
was
he needed
pretty
to go
funny.
out on the porch and talk himself down.
Yes, he
Oh
did.
my god!
I don't know about you out there, but I've been that guy. Come on, Marcus. You
It
can
was
make
a
it through
learning
this. Just hang in there.
experience.
Yeah.
Next time, if we go, I hope we go to Asir again, because next time I'll prove myself, and I'll just like.
got
have
the
He's gonna knock. He's gonna knock that guy out, dude.
yeah, dude, get out of here.
He's got the taser.
Yeah.
I can't feel my teeth. I guess that was fun.
So again, a shout out to Asir.
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 I can't
Asir.
say it. I'm sorry, Eric, because I love you and your meat. But check him out. The other
Because
thing,
the Asir will welcome him.
yes, Asir.
Yes.
Asir.
Yes, sir.
Asir.
Yes, sir.
Why can't I
Asir.
say it? It's my problem. It's my issue. Okay.
Okay, you problem.
I will try to have it resolved by the end of the 6th year. I'll work on it.
All right.
Yeah. Now this episode.
Yeah,
the
no, not.
New
I
Year's
do not
resolution.
guarantee this episode at all.
The Asir
2020.
gods, and then you have the Vanner gods, and then you have the. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, I'm going to work on it.
Yeah.
The other one, we had our first promo event where we gave away a bunch of t-shirts.
Yeah, which was
That was
really
fun.
That was loads of fun. I'm looking forward to doing that again sometime. We just
sound
rebuilt our shirt stock, so Patreon, check us out, get shirts. And is it the biggest news? Let's not make his head any bigger. It's up there with some news and things that kind of happened this past year.
Yeah.
I did it. Let's just skip it. Let's move on to our favorite
Wow,
Nerdplay.
episode 86. Go on with me. I
it's-
watched that the other night.
we added-
Oh my god.
We added a
Yeah,
third
we were doing
wheel.
that too.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
We added a third wheel to our Nerdbuzz formula, and we're actually super stoked to have him with us. He's here every episode. Jack Hughs. Sometimes he's in the intern camp over
Yeah.
there in the corner.
I
So
just- I
we're
just
glad
know
he's
that.
here on
Let's be real.
on the table with us. We appreciate everything you do. You bring this
Thanks.
new
Oh,
youthful
stop
energy
it.
to the show,
Stop it.
which can be a little intense sometimes.
Yes.
But that's enough praise. Let's get back to throwing him under the bus.
Nice.
And let's move on to our favorite. By the way, I think that was episode 86.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And episode 90 was the Asir Meadery, so it was like I think I
He's
did
time
one
traveling
episode
again.
after that.
Yeah, right. It's really good.
Yeah.
I think
There
it was
were a
like this
couple in
transition
between.
in there. But I think the 86 was your official,
Yeah, that was my first one.
your first one. And then there's an official we welcome you to the show episode. And I think that is that
The one
89?
with Top Gun. No, we released that like a couple
Like
weeks
way
ago.
later. Yeah. So anyway, it was all out of order. But anyway, he's here. That's great. We all love him. Anyway, so let's move on to our favorites for 2017. I'm sure that we're all aware of what a Nerdplay is because we do it all the time on the show. Every month, Sony gives us a handful of games that are pseudo-free.
Well,
And
if you want to play online, you gotta have the PlayStation Plus subscription.
Yeah.
anyway, and who doesn't play online?
Exactly. So utilize it. Get some of these awesome games.
Yeah, and get
This-
the app on your phone to just download them
Yes.
and store them there because they've
And-
updated it. It's way better now.
Yeah,
It doesn't glitch out like it used to.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
So the app on the phone works. Also, you can get online through the PlayStation website and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like $60 a year or something, but in total
The cost of a game.
or sorry, yeah. So $60 a year, and in total they gave out $1,287 worth of games. So
for just one platform.
Yeah, and
no, well, I mean
would say
that
half
was
of those-
covered over all three.
Was it?
Yeah, but there's
Okay.
still a lot of crossplay going
Because
on. So like,
you go to your cart and you put everything that they give you for the month. the month total for this month, I want to say was $186.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that
This month was...
does that total like duplicate total games. Like if you get it on Vita and PS4,
No, I think
does
it's
it
just
count it
this-
twice?
this was
because they're all cross-buy, right? You buy a game
Yeah.
on this. Like
So it only counts it once.
Yeah.
Because from the app, I do the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And then put them all in the cart and then go to checkout at once.
Yeah.
I want to say my total was like 183 for PlayStation 3 and
Oh
4.
yeah, for sure. Typically it's over $100. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's super, super worth it. And
yeah.
you don't even have to download them all. As long as you purchase them through the app, they just sit there in your history. You can get them. Maybe one day you're bored or you're homesick or something,
I
and you
just
need something
started
to
playing
do.
Until Dawn, which is pretty fun.
I really kind of that's
Yeah.
on my list of favorite nerd plays. So we always get the free ones. We always pick one. We started out a week, and then we started out at 2 weeks, and then we thought we cannot give an accurate opinion on these, so we've tried to kind of
some of them we can't give an...
Yeah, some of them we can play for 5 minutes and give you a pretty accurate opinion on.
Bound.
But
Yeah.
a lot of them, we actually really try to play them and really give you an educated opinion on it. And so, our favorites from those. Who wants to go first?
I
Favorite
guess.
nerd plays. Jack's kind of new to it because he came in so late in the year. Should we go to you
And
first?
I'm usually
then?
not like if I see a game that I'm not interested in, I won't play it. But I think it was in January or February. I remember playing it at my friend Kip's house. Who they just
that
met.
this or is
no,
that T-Boy?
we don't.
You did that all the time. He did that
know.
every episode.
I know.
Yeah.
Point
he
is,
did. Go back and watch. It's true.
We went to Kip's house and
I'm gonna find a clip
there's
and
this
pop
cool
it in
game
right now of Jack going like this.
made by Devolver called Titan Souls.
I remember that.
I forgot that I was released this year, and I really liked it because there's this interesting sort of Shadow of the Colossus almost
So bad.
boss rush.
The single arrow game.
Yeah, so you have
You
an
had to
arrow.
shoot it and retrieve it.
Yeah, but there's so much stuff it does with that. Like some boss, you might need to shoot behind them and then call it back at perfect. Like it's just one mechanic, but it utilizes it so well in such clever and creative ways. I love when games do that. Like a Thumper, you just hit the X button and do this, right, and just go side, left, right, up. But there's so much crazy stuff that goes on, and it feels more deep than games that have like all this weird stuff going on.
It's like an endless boss battle game.
Yeah, and I love boss battle games. I've actually been playing Fury was last year. Yeah.
Yeah. My major complaint with
Movement.
with the Titan
Titan
was
Souls?
it? Titan Souls.
Yeah, just basically.
Really, the boss battles I enjoyed. I thought they were pretty good. My biggest complaint was the world interaction. I didn't like having to travel from the hub point
Yeah, it was kind of-
to all those points because you die
Every
so
time you
easily and
die,
so
yeah.
quick. You now have to travel this really far distance.
It wasn't ever too far, unless you didn't hit the save. Like, because in each zone there's like a save point,
Yeah.
and when if you don't hit that, then and you travel like across the world, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, to me,
Yeah.
it's almost this.
So I guess,
especially when it's a game where a boss battle game like Fury and Titan Souls, it's assumed you're going to die a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's like a racing game. Like those styles of games need a quick restart. Like in the middle of it, you should just be able to hit pause and hit restart and start that battle over again, because that's the point of the game, is to die over and over and figure out the boss. And the only way to do that is through repetition.
Yeah.
So that was my only real major complaint about that game. I enjoyed its like pixel art style that it has. It's kind
I
of
like
old
Fury.
school feel.
I did not like this.
Yeah, you
Titan
didn't like
Souls.
it?
No.
No.
Yeah, Fury is definitely a way different game
I like Fury just mostly because of the,
art style or
Yeah.
the character design.
yeah.
Fury's really
Which
good.
is the Afro Samurai guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably, if I had to put it against those two games, I'd say Fury, but I do like Titan Souls, and it definitely feels like a Devolver game, very skill based.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but and I looked through a lot of them, and I haven't been too impressed this year. Like I couldn't get into MGS5. Strike Vector X is probably like one of my runner ups, just because I thought that the gameplay was really cool, but it just didn't feel like there was much to it after playing it for a little bit.
I don't think that. I mean, it's totally your whatever you want to pick as your
My
favorite.
opinion is correct,
but I don't
so.
think that. Yeah, right. It totally is. This episode's all about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Titan Souls is a bad choice at all. I think that it did a lot of things to highlight classic games, which I appreciate, because I think games are so full of like flowery garbage that doesn't matter now to make a
Bound.
deal like visually appealing.
Oh yeah.
Right. But there's no substance there. And this is a game that doesn't emphasize on that visual part and more kind of emphasized on the substance.
Yeah.
And the substance that was there, I thought was quality. It just, my biggest issue was the map and the way that interacted. I almost wish there were like enemies you had to battle on your way to the next boss or something. Make the world relevant instead of just this.
Yeah.
There was nothing that happened in the world. Like find a way to upgrade my arrow, or like make a point to the exploration of the world. That was my only
As
major
far as the
complaint.
throwback games going, I don't think that was this year, but it was Axiom Verge. That's one I liked. That was
Yeah.
more of a throwback.
Yeah. Very
Oh,
Metroidvania.
yeah, no, I've seen that one. I
Is that a
never
free
played
one?
That one though. No.
Yeah, I don't think that ever.
I totally would have picked that one up.
Yeah.
I
remember-
did, and I played it.
remember playing it. It was
Should we
fun.
go to me?
Yeah.
So we did have Metal Gear Solid 5, which we totally gave awesome reviews
Yes.
to. I don't want to choose that one.
That's the same thing
That
I'm
would
doing.
be it would be my standout choice, just because I think it's totally the full package deal as far as the game goes. But I think it's the exception to the rule, so I don't think it's fair to choose that one. I really liked Tearaway. I thought Tearaway was a lot of fun.
Other than that weird glitch you got.
Yeah, and I'm still stuck at it. I can't figure it out. I don't know how to get... I think I'm just glitched out, and I don't have another save file, and I've played the game for several hours now, and I don't want to go back and do it again, right? So it's good, but not that good.
Have you looked up a walkthrough?
I have, and I've like gone through the exact thing they do, but the panel won't move for me, and I don't know what to do, and I can't go back to the... to like the level before. I'm stuck in the level I'm in.
It sucks.
So there's only so many things I can do, and I've looked at so many videos. They all do the same thing, and it's just a matter of like flipping a lever and standing on a panel that glows, and then the floor moves.
Yeah.
And I flipped the lever and stood on the panel, but the floor won't move. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and it's really unfortunate. But the other two that I also really liked were Life is Strange and Until Dawn. They're kind of similar style of games. I actually really enjoyed both of them in different ways. I played both of them with my wife, and she really enjoyed them. But I think the standout for me this year was actually Not a Hero. I really enjoyed Not a Hero.
That was kind of fun.
It's that it does a really good job of letting you restart at any point you want. You can just restart because again, you play it really frantically, fast paced. It's very that like pixel art style. Very like awesome characters that have like these cool slide gun moves and like cool blood splatters, and like it's very kind of South Park or even what's the other game Hotline
Miami.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
also
got
made
that.
by Devolver.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was loads of fun. I think for me it's my nerd play of the year.
I couldn't get into that one as much. I love Devolver games. I love Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about that game, it just didn't captivate me that much. It felt kind of repetitive because it's like,
It's very repetitive.
yeah. And then it also like crashed my PS4. It was really weird. Like I couldn't
Oh.
exit out of it.
Personal
couldn't turn it
gripe.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, or I was trying to delete it, and then it like wouldn't let me. It was cool.
No!
And then like, it wouldn't let me exit out or shut off my PS4.
Delete it
so-
for the whole like 10 megabytes that it took to put
Yeah.
it on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, mine's Life is Strange.
Really?
Yeah, obviously I want to put my Metal Gear Solid 5 in there, but
Yeah.
for the
me
same
too.
reason I can't.
I don't think it's fair to do it.
Yeah. No, Life is Strange. I really enjoyed that. The more I got into it, the more it sucked me in, and just the choices it forced you to make
Yeah.
was just the choices it forced you to make seemed to have more consequences than Until Dawn.
Yes. Well, it was more. Until Dawn was a cheesy horror movie. Like it
Yeah.
was. It had all the tropes of a cheesy horror movie. You were with your crew of like angsty post-teen people, right? That had this crazy event that happened, and now they're forced to come back together and try to figure it out. It's like totally that cheesy teen tween kind of horror movie that you've seen. All those classic tropes happen in it.
And I hate those movies, which is probably why I didn't care for it as well.
But Life is Strange really like forced you to consider like real world moral issue choices in that game. And there was like suicide in there was one of the choices, and like all these things that you did impacted the story as far as what would happen next. Like if that character died, they were gone, and now you had to implement other things and interact with other characters. Until Dawn wasn't so much that way. It was just kind of, I mean, it did impact things that way, and it was still fun. I really liked them both, but it was just easier. It didn't come across as serious. I really liked Life is Strange also. I thought that was a super solid game.
So next to Metal Gear Solid, Life is Strange is definitely my top one
Yeah.
for this year.
I think it's a solid choice.
I think Lovers in a Space time.
think you have to
close second. No.
Yeah,
I think
right.
you have to play that. Did you guys play it together? Because I heard that you couldn't like only play that game together. It's
Yeah, no, we
The
played it
lovers
together.
one.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
Yeah. Well,
The-
maybe if we all three did, it would be easier. I couldn't get into.
As long as we communicate,
Yeah.
you really have to
I
communicate.
played
on it.
Lovers in a Space Time with my wife and my favorite wife's friend Emily, who's been on the show, and the three of us played it, and it was loads of fun. When you're like, what the hell, babe? Go to the cannon and shoot the people. And it's like, Emily, go to the jet and move us away from the wall. We're gonna hit the like screaming at each
You're
other
the
as
commander.
we're racing around, right? Well, they're all like, what button is that again? As we're just getting bombarded by
What's
stuff. And it's like,
X?
awesome. Yeah, right.
The one that says X.
Yeah,
Oh my
my
god!
God.
So I was playing Xbox with my roommate's boyfriend
Yeah.
today, and we were playing Diablo 3,
Oh.
and he's calling out X, and I'm hitting whatever A is or whatever it is on
Yeah.
the Xbox controller. It's like no, not working.
Yeah.
Hit X. No.
Wasted all my mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was just the controller layout was
Oh, totally.
throwing me off
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Before I move on to my favorite game, I totally forgot. I don't know how I could forget. Oxenfree. I bought it and then it came out free the next month, but it was totally worth the buy. It's
I don't know if that's one we played. I don't think so.
It's like a Telltale game. It's like a Square Enix Life is Strange kind of game,
Yeah.
but I think it does it so much better because it doesn't have this heavy-handed like cutscene. You're forced to talk and do all this. Like it's a fun. I think it's
That's
one of
something
those games.
I liked about the Life is Strange is all the cutscenes and
But it felt like this one felt more real because it's like you could interrupt a person, right? Instead of having to wait for this whole thing to play out, and it felt so much more natural, and the plot was like really cool to explore. Like it wasn't like all the Telltale games that are always based off something. Life is Strange, I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like the characters, but Oxenfree I thought did teenage characters really well, and I think you should totally play it, and it's totally worth like $15 or whatever. I need to play it again because the ending I got was just so depressing.
I'll have to check it out because I have it.
Yeah.
Because I use the app.
Yeah, but Oxenfree is a great game. Best game, I thought Horizon.
We're just gonna move into that apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
was
going-
gonna say
Oh.
before we transition to that. No, it's awesome. I did want to say that one thing about the Until Dawn, I think that Until Dawn is a lot better when you play the whole game and you beat it because you unlock all these like how it's made like things and like
Yeah.
bonus features, and you get all these interviews with the actors that played the characters and their interpretations of how that went, and like the writer of the game, and they're like people that did horror movies, and one of the writers for it is a character in the game. He's like the creepy guy with the flamethrower thing that you
okay.
meet, and he like really looks just like him and looks like this creepy ass dude you don't want to meet in
I
a
like
back
the
alley.
psychologist guy. I know.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't,
my favorite. Yeah,
I don't know his actor name, but like his scenes with him are like really like. I mean, his like mouth looks kind of weird, and I think that's like glitch. But like the weight, but like it almost is like this weird like this creepy guy.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think other than the
Being honest
Ghostbusters
with
game,
me.
that game is one of my favorites as far as like the bonus like kind of video content you can watch and like
Okay.
interaction with those things. It really made the game better for me anyway. It wasn't like wasted content. Sometimes you get bonus content and you're like, I'll never ever watch that. It's
Oh, yeah.
stupid,
Yeah.
right? Like I thought it was valid and totally worth putting in there. So it's a worthy side note. Check it out if you have the game.
nice.
Anyway, yes, best game of the year.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Dun, dun, dun.
I just kind of bought it. Like I didn't watch too much about it. Like initially I thought it's just gonna be some dumb game that has, you know, it's cool that you get to fight robots. But then I watched the reveal and I'm like, it's not gonna be that cool because I know I think that was when it was revealed. That was the main time of where like it's this really long like the PS3 phase of where a game will either show you something that doesn't happen, it'll show you something cool and then downgrade it, or it'll show you the best part of the game. But I felt like Horizon didn't show anything. And I was so surprised, constantly seeing all these crazy new machines. And there's like, yeah, you can fight one of these machines and it'll be fine. But you fight that and like maybe another one or something else, and the battle totally changes. It becomes about like, I need to tie this guy down the whole time, or I need to blow this up so that I can get him in an area of effect where they'll both be on fire now, and I can take him out. Or just like, there's so many ways to go about it. There's so many different machines. All the weapons are really unique, and all of them feel useful. Like
Totally. I
yeah.
think that's such a valid point of Horizon.
Yeah.
There's so many games that that bombard you with weapons that you can pick from, and you pick like two and
Yeah.
use those through the whole game, right? Which you can still do in Horizon, but it's worth it to try all the weapons because they all are completely validated the instant you use them, and they're loads of fun to switch between them and use them.
And you have to, because you get to a point where I think every player probably gets to a point where they run out of blaze, which is the blast bombs. And because I was
or
playing
tripwires or the tie down cables. Like I ran out of all that stuff.
I always have that because you open those like crates that you get. Also, they have crates that you don't have to buy. They're like loot boxes, filled with cool stuff. And then they went and added the DLC, which added like a lightning gun, a flamethrower, and then I think something else. And then more upgraded versions of your weapons, more upgraded versions of your armor. You can upgrade your spear now. Like, it just added all this other stuff. And I'm not even getting into the coolest part about Horizon, which is the lore. The gameplay is awesome, but I was not expecting the story.
That's what I appreciated about it the most.
Like,
I totally appreciated the story aspect.
Yeah, and, like, playing through the DLC, you get, like, I don't know, once you figure out what you're up against, it's so cool, and it gets you totally invested in that lore again, and it, like, I don't know.
I think it rides that line of doing something new, but also maintaining some of those cliche things that we want to see. It's like, but it manages to do them while still like throwing in some fresh stuff, you know? Because there's some really like cliche moments in that game where clearly this guy is going to stab you in the back, or clearly I'm going to turn into this character. Like it has those classic moments, but it all revolves around this really kind of fresh interpretation of it. And I really appreciated that about it. I liked that it was familiar but different at the same time, which it did really well. My biggest complaint about Horizon is the stupid swimming. I think swimming should just not be in that game. It's so pointless. When you run across a little creek and you go into like the prone position to swim just to go half an inch and then stand up again on the other shore.
That doesn't happen
so
to
stupid.
me.
That's never happened to you?
No.
That will happen. If you go, like, you're running from
I've
some
played
sort
it
of
for like
creature.
130 hours.
I've had it happen to me multiple times in that game. I hate any moment I have to swim in that game.
It's happened to me like that once or twice, but not like
I hate that part of
I
the
hate
game.
swimming just because I'm terrified of the alligator things.
To me, it just seems like an afterthought. Like, just don't include it. Just if they should have just left it out of the game until it was polished. I think that the game Horizon is awesome. I love Horizon. It has some issues as far as on the surface, it's super pretty, and it is like the pilot game for that series and that franchise. It's breaking the mold of what Guerrilla made it.
And they made Killzone before.
That's all they made. It's
crazy.
Right? That's all they made, and they totally went out on their own. They made their own engine to make the game. Like they did all this
which
awesome
Kojima
first
is using
stuff.
now.
Yeah, which is super
freaking
cool.
awesome.
That's to me, that's a testament to how awesome Horizon is. But I don't think Horizon escaped all of those first game flaws.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it has a lot of those little things in it. But
yeah, but if this is their first game and those are the only small flaws it has,
like I get it. I really want to be able to mount a Thunderjaw or a Stormbird, and that's probably going to be the next one. And there's probably going to be way more machines, and there's going to be more. And I think part of what I like about the game is kind of the inverse of that, where I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I totally am
Yeah.
too. I think the next game will be even better.
Oh, it's
and I
gonna be
think
awesome.
it could have, but it does like classic things where like the only thing you can climb up is something with a yellow bar, right? And like it limits you in ways that games have been limited to for a while now. But things that it
PS2
does,
even.
yeah, right. Like these are classic limits that games have had. But as far as like art design in the game, as far as story, as far as like lore, like you're saying, and character development. I want to say this game was one of the first games to make me think I like a female protagonist, right? Like I think I even mentioned that on our review show. I'm not like I'm fine with it, but it's not what I would genuinely gravitate towards. Right? I would never do it. I would never be like I want to play the game where I'm going to be a badass chick. It'd always be like if I can pick the dude, I'm going to be a badass dude, right? Because I'm a dude. But
yeah, you just play who you identify with.
Totally, right? But Horizon, I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed playing as Aloy and her
she's
character.
Totally you, like you in
it's
that
awesome.
situation.
Yeah, I really appreciated so many things about that game. I don't think it's without its flaws, and I think that in some reviews, people have looked past those things. Like they don't touch on some of those things, and I do think it has them. But I think it's an awesome mold for what the future holds for Horizon. I think there's going to be a sequel, and I think they will address those things. And it's going to be as equally groundbreaking as the first one. Totally. Yeah. What do you think, Jake?
On Horizon?
Yeah.
I think it was the first game to really fully illustrate what the PlayStation 4 could do.
Yeah, especially
yeah.
graphically.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like Infamous Second Son was good, but then this is like
Yeah, but I mean, like, just like all
Elizabeth
the
says
nuance stuff of when they're having a conversation
Oh, yeah.
of like what you did right there. You winced your brow, close your brows up and open it, but it's something that people are going to do when they're talking, and
Yeah.
it's doing it. Like it's almost
Yeah.
believable. It's still
sometimes it's a little.
it's still quirky, but you can see that it's not. The animator didn't go in there and say they need to furrow their brow for this at this point in time. It's part of the AI and the engine. You can tell it's done that way. So I think it's
better than Andromeda.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much, right? It didn't need
My
an
face is
update to
tired.
fix that. Yeah. I think for a first out of the mold, for what they've done, from a new engine, from branching out from what this company has made so many games before of, and this is something totally different, groundbreaking. I think
Yeah.
Horizon is really, really good.
Good job.
I think solid choice.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
my one. That's probably my runner-up.
All right. What's your first?
My first one is actually a last year game, but first year for us,
Okay.
which is the Tomb Raider. Another female
Okay.
protagonist.
Yeah.
Wait, is it? It's
the
not
second
Rise,
Tomb Raider.
right? Or is it Rise or is it just Tomb
It's
Raider?
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Because we didn't get it till this year on
Yep.
PlayStation, right? So it is
Yeah, it counts,
this year
yeah.
for PlayStation. Totally
Yes.
counts.
First
yes.
year for PlayStation, but
Which my brother still has,
Yes.
right? Yeah. You might never get that back.
that's fine.
No,
I'll
you'll
get
get it back. Maybe.
I never played it. I never played that
Have
one.
you played the first one?
No.
Oh, you should.
I think. Did you play Uncharted?
Oh well, yeah. I know it looks. It looks a lot the same. I wonder if it's like Uncharted took from Tomb Raider, and then Tomb Raider then took from Uncharted.
I think took it to another level.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the first Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider, the first time they were at the island and stuff. The one they're making the new movie about, which we'll get into another time. I have some major gripes coming up with that, but we'll touch on that later.
Okay.
That one felt like another Uncharted game, and it felt like the way they approached it felt like your hands were tied a little bit for my style gameplay anyway, because I'm more of a melee player than I am a gun player, and this one forces you to play distance and aiming weapons.
Yeah.
So once melee opened up, it was like I've got this handled, no problem. But
The ice pick.
yes,
Pickaxe. Yeah.
Once you got that, once it was like, just get in there and engage them until you got the little triangle. Oh, triangle, bam! Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was totally played just like Uncharted otherwise,
Well,
as far as that went. And then when the Rise of Tomb Raider came out, everything that Uncharted 4 should have had, or at least should have done well, Rise of Tomb Raider was doing. It did it well.
I think the second Tomb Raider, which is the one that's
The
favorite.
20-year edition Rise of Tomb Raider.
I think that game is a really good example of expanding on its first one.
Yes.
Right? It does it really, really well, which I think is what the flaw of that Uncharted was, is that I really feel like Uncharted 4 was a step backwards. I don't think it was... It's not what I wanted from Uncharted at all. Uncharted doesn't even make it on my list as far as best games. It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't make the best games, but Uncharted 4 did something that I wanted to see. And it's kind of like what we did with the last episode with Star Wars, it's resetting the universe.
Yeah.
It brought a fresh take to it. We got a new adventurer, a new person for them to build off of. Whether they do or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But we've seen the way that they can develop a story with Last of Us, and even for a lesser extent, the other, the first 3 Uncharted's.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog knows what they're doing when they're making a story and when they're making a game.
In a way, I almost feel like Naughty Dog was burnt out on their own product. Like maybe
I totally agree.
some of that came into play with
I
Uncharted
totally
4.
agree. But what I'm saying is I think that by introducing the girl,
Yeah.
totally opens up new doors for them and a new storyline.
Yeah.
And how much of that was just a slap in the face to Tomb Raider directly by bringing in a female protagonist adventurer.
Totally. Well, and I think the other thing...
Other than the fact that she doesn't come from a rich background.
Yeah. Right. And I think that the other thing that makes Tomb Raider stand out compared to Uncharted, which I think is an issue that it would be cool if Uncharted addressed. Uncharted's a game where you kill an enemy, you pick up their weapon, you fire it till it's out of rounds, you throw the thing away because you don't care about it, and you pick up the next available weapon.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise of Uncharted.
Yeah.
In Tomb Raider, You get a weapon,
You craft it.
progress, you craft it. It's like you have this personal
You Laura
relationship.
craft.
Yeah, right. Ayo. See, you're learning
You're
stuff,
struggling,
right?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. God.
But I like that personal relationship
Yes.
she has with all of her weapons in it, and that's something I really appreciate about the Tomb Raider game.
And to be fair, once you get the bow and you put the silence tufts on it and everything, and you get that sucker so you can draw it really fast, and then it's silent fired. Oh, that's the best stealth weapon in the game, man.
Yeah.
You
Which Naughty Dog does in The Last of Us. So I don't know why they can't implement that element into Uncharted. I don't understand why they haven't figured out how to mesh those two. They can do it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't do that. I totally agree, and I totally agree. I think those are solid games. But I think the game that if you have a PlayStation 4 that you absolutely have to buy, and like Uncharted or Horizon, it's an exclusive. You can only get it on PlayStation. For
Bound.
me, yeah, right. Yeah, Bound. It's free, and you should just give them money because it's that good. It's not at all. But is Persona 5. Persona 5 is the game this year that I have put down for like a month or two at a time, and then picked up again and cracked out on for hours for like at least a solid week. I'll play that until GTA Tuesday comes around, and then I'll swap out the disc for GTA or whatever, right? And then I won't put it back in my PlayStation for a while.
You know the game I'm doing that with?
What's that?
Final Fantasy VII.
At least you don't have to swap a disc, right?
I know. Well, I know I do. I have to go in to hit the center menu button and then say, swap
Oh
discs.
God, first world problems there. Yeah. But I think if you are a Persona fan at all, if you're a JRPG fan at all, if you're an anime fan at all, this game highlights all of those qualities that have made all those games awesome so well, and you get it all in one package. I've played the game for 100 hours now, and I'm about halfway through. I love that the game it's totally classic JRPG, but I love that the game has a time schedule. So it's like you have to go and do something.
That's every Persona's had that.
Every Persona has that, which I love about it, because the typical thing in a JRPG is to go do every little side quest and do every little thing before you go fight the boss, right? This one you can't do that,
Which
because
is what I'm doing right now in Final Fantasy VII. I'm up to the Sephiroth battle, and I'm Alpha chasing Ruby Weapon, and
yeah, well, and in Persona you can play it so many different ways. You can go into every day in Persona you get when you first wake up, you get a midday, you get an evening, and then you get before you go to bed, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to allocate what you want to do for those times a day, and different things take up different amount of time. One thing might take up all day, but it might be like hanging out with one of your buddies, which will now improve your relationship with them. So during a battle, you can do things together that will increase damage now because you're closer as far as your relationship. The personas that you make that deal with that the relationship that you made are now stronger when you create those personas, and so you have to pick and choose these different relationships that you do. It doesn't even have to be a relationship. You can go and pick like different little part-time jobs that will now increase different attributes about your character that will now influence battles, and but all of it's required within a certain time frame. Like you only get so many days before there's this pinnacle moment that now you have to go do that, and after that everything you've done is now locked. Right? You can't go back and change it now because you've made that pinnacle decision. And so I love how it forces you to have to make those choices along the way. You can't just go out and just level grind. You can't. There are moments that you can, but even still, when you're doing that, the moment you stop, that portion of the day is done, and you have to move on to the next day now. And if you want to level grind, you have one day to do that. And the moment you're done, you're getting closer and closer to that deadline. Maybe it's better to actually hang out at the end of the deadline.
Yeah.
It's typically like this major turning point in the story, or like something that's going to happen.
So there's a few deadlines.
Oh, they keep happening. There's always a deadline that keeps happening throughout the game. You have like 15 days before somebody's going to expose you as whatever you call your team, right? They'll expose you as that. So now you have to go in, and what you're doing in the game is you're stealing people's hearts. And so,
I mean, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, right. Well, you're stealing there's somebody that's out corrupting the world and whatever, and they're going to expose you. So you have so long to figure out what their personal castle is, which is their like internal personified. They're like the king of it, right? So now you have to go through the dungeon and get to them, and you have to discover what their treasure is, which is that personal issue that they have. Once you discover that, You have to then send them a calling card, which then cuts your deadline down even closer, all while still working in that original deadline. And then at that point, you have to go in, give them the calling card, take over the castle, steal their heart so that they become a better person. It's all like actually done really well.
That's pretty cool of you.
It's
Can
super
you
cool.
also be evil?
Can you be evil? You have characters that are more evil. Like it's like an anime. Like you have all those classic characters in it. I love it. I think it's so good. It's a game that almost like Metal Gear Solid-ish or other games like that where I will just pick this game up and keep playing it forever and ever. I've already got 100 hours in. I'm only halfway through.
The only Persona I played before was Persona 2.
Yeah.
And that was for maybe 10 or 15 hours total.
Beat it. Whole thing.
No.
No, I wouldn't think not even close. Yeah.
And then I picked up 5, because I came over and played with you for probably, I think, 3 or 4 hours that day. And so much better. And so much the same, but so different.
Yeah.
And I don't know really how
You have 5?
No, I played...
You played mine.
Yeah, I played yours. Because you called me up and said I had to come over and try it out. And you made me play through the whole intro and then part of the next...
Yeah. And that like the way it owns what it is, so like 1,000,000% that never stops through the whole game.
Yeah.
Like even the little subtle, it has a ton of loading screens, but they're all like a few seconds. Like they're really short.
Yeah, they're quick, and I like how they have a message in
Oh,
it.
it's awesome. Like when the main protagonist in one of them, when they change their persona, they have like their awesome action costume on, right? That's how they perceive themselves when they're in this persona world. And one of them, my favorite, is the main guy will jump into the black screen, grab the corner, and then like this action jump out as the corner tears across, and then you load into the next screen when he does that.
Talking about pan outs.
Yeah, right. But it's like full of all these little loading screens like that. Like even in the corner, it'll show like his head that'll spin, and it says something like it's worth it to wait or something like that. But it's like it knows what it's doing. It's fully aware of everything it's doing the whole time, and it does it 1,000,000%. Get Persona 5. If you like anime, if you like JRPGs, if you like awesome stories, get it.
I think I'll get it once I can
You know
find
what I
like
got?
my breakthrough JRPG game, because it's kind of hard to get into games like that.
Yeah,
Getting
I
into
agree.
new genres like
This
open
one's
world
nice.
games. It was hard for me to do that too.
Well, and this one's nice because of that deadline, it's constantly forcing you to progress and move forward. Like some of the JRPGs, it's easy to get stuck in that like grind hole, right? Where
Yes.
you're just like, what do I do now? Because I've been grinding for months on end, and my guy's this crazy level, but I forgot what the story was. Right? Like this one forces you, but this one, it's totally true.
Skyrim
It happens,
much.
right? Yeah. But in this one, it's constantly making you aware of the story, and it's constantly reminding me, dude, you're getting close to the deadline. You might want to take care of this now. Like it's really getting close now. And eventually you get to a point where you're screwed, and then the game will force you to go back a week, and you have to now like reallocate what you did for that week. It's great. I love it. I can't say enough good things about Persona
Yeah.
5.
Nice.
Get it.
Good
And it's
price.
PS4 exclusive.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
You know what I did pick up, though?
what?
Well, when I got my router,
What?
Handsome Collection.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have to try playing again.
Okay.
I'll join.
I heard they got a melee guy, so
Yeah, they did.
Krieg. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
he's
think I
interesting.
might do better if I have a melee guy.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah,
didn't.
let's do it.
I didn't.
We can't play with Walter because he'll throw up within like 10 minutes.
I'm not worried about
He
that.
gets so motion sick. I told him to just give that copy to you. That was a game I
Oh.
bought Walter. It was like on super sale for $20 or something.
Oh, I got it for $11.
Yeah. I gave it to him and I was like, dude, let's play this instead of GTA. Can we play a different game? We tried it. 5 minutes in, he wanted to barf. I could literally hear him gagging through the mic, just like, "Ugh,
He was trying.
let me take some more Dramamine. I was like, really? Let's just play GTA.
Yeah.
Funny.
And even in GTA, you have to let him drive. Like, he's
Yeah.
that bad in that game. Yeah. So do it, Jack. Segue us into the next one.
Best movie. This is kind of a hard one to think about.
Yeah?
Oh,
we had-
I've totally got a best.
I know
There
my best,
was Baby Driver. I think it's my third.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I want to.
Baby Driver's really good. And then there's
I've heard good things.
Thor. Excellent comedy, but I think above that, I'm gonna have to say Blade Runner. That's my
Blade Runner.
favorite.
Ooh, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner is my number one.
Nice.
Blade Runner followed by Thor,
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, those are two excellent
Yep.
movies, but I think Blade Runner
and then
is a really good sequel.
Can we also say that Blade Runner is the most underappreciated movie of the year?
yes,
Right? Like
Yeah.
that movie was so critically praised, which is not something I usually go on at all.
Oh, me neither.
I loved it. We
Star
praised
Wars.
the hell out of it.
I loved that movie.
Right?
Yeah.
I so love that movie. It's so true to what Blade Runner is. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. But
My only complaint's the end.
I think it's
Yeah.
the biggest movie. Me too. I wish it would have just ended on the stair scene. If it would have ended on the stair scene, it would have went up a whole point for me. Like that movie would have been better. But that movie, I think that it's the biggest drop off in revenue of the year, from opening weekend to the next weekend.
Really?
Yeah, like people just didn't like Blade Runner. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, maybe it's the product of being too true to a cult classic.
But-
Only the cult is gonna like it.
But I was gonna say, but that's the same thing that happened with the original Blade Runner. So
Yeah, right. Totally. Like it wasn't
It's just
until
time,
after it
yeah.
came out and people appreciated it. It's like a fine wine, right?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever.
Well,
It's
you know
gotta
what's
age.
good is that if it didn't make that much money, it's probably not. There's probably not going to be a Blade Runner cinematic universe, right?
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
want that. I don't
Yeah.
want
No.
that at all.
I think it could honestly end there. Like,
Oh, I
it's
think
a
for
great
another,
movie.
I don't even. What year did the other one come out? It was like 80 something.
Yeah.
Is that right? 70,
20
later?
years.
Yeah, like a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, totally cool with it.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait.
30 years.
Make a good movie, and I think that's what they did. I mean, there was, I think there's going to be the extended cut that has a lot more going into the Jared Leto's guy,
Yeah,
but because I am interested. I would like more scenes with him. I felt like it needed more scenes, but overall, I think the movie is just a really excellent package.
totally agree.
And it was super long, but unlike Star Wars, I never felt like it drug on. Like I was like, oh, I was interested the whole time.
Yeah, well, and if you watch that's how the original is.
Yeah.
Because that's how old movies were. Right?
Yes.
Like they didn't force feed you everything.
Yeah.
It was a slow roll that they did. And I think that this new Blade Runner did it really well, and I really appreciated in Blade Runner how it was 30 years in the movie itself. Like in the universe that the movie took place in was 30 years later. So anything that seemed fresher and newer about it is okay because it's 30 years newer, right? Like
Yeah.
things are also going to evolve
Yeah.
in that movie universe, which I think is such an appealing and appropriate way to deal with that issue. Like when they bring movies back or they try to reboot something and it has such a polished look to it, it takes away from that original feel of it. But when the universe itself has also evolved to that time period, it comes across as a little more acceptable.
Yeah.
So and I haven't done it in a long time, so it's about time I do. And for Europe, year and round, I think it's good.
Yeah.
But my favorite film guy, Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Your just favorite guy in general. Is this
Yeah.
man
No,
crush.
I'm not. I wouldn't say that.
He would.
But-
Not to us, but he would.
Drama.
He's got a little Kevin Smith shrine in his closet.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't.
He has.
I
With
do-
a Buddy Christ candle?
No.
Sorry,
Come on.
he has
No.
5 of
You
them.
would have a Buddy
I
Christ
do
candle
have
if
the
they had one.
VHS copies of all of his
Tell
original
me,
movies.
tell me that the Buddy Christ candle has the wick on his thumb, right?
But no, like he was saying about the slow your roll thing and everything
Yeah.
that the older movies does. He said that the movies would come out, and his stuff specifically is they're feeding you the universe as if you already know what it is.
Yeah.
So they just make the assumptions are already there that you know what it is and you have to figure it out. And it's assuming that the audience isn't stupid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I totally agree.
I don't want to
It's
be
less
insulted.
documentary, right?
But
Yeah.
the thing about it is so one of his favorite movies, which is sad that I say this now, and using this as an example, is Mallrats.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites of his.
And that was the one where he was following the studio's recommendations, and their thing about it was, well, Kevin, maybe you need to say this because you want everybody to laugh? He says, but I want that one guy that's laughing. It gets it to get it, but do you think it'd be better if everybody's laughing? If you told them, more people would laugh.
Yeah.
And so he followed their direction on some of that.
Yeah.
But there's still a ton of Kevin Smith jokes in there
Oh, for sure.
that are the one guy laughing jokes.
Yeah. Well, and I love how a Kevin Smith movie, it has a lot of the same actors, right? And a lot of the same
Yes.
people that come in.
Well, it's
But
called
they-
his best friends.
Well, totally, right? It's like a buddy movie, right?
Yeah.
But I love that they play different characters, but still,
I'll be
in some
back.
of them, acknowledge that that those other characters.
Yeah,
from
tell
their
'em, Steve
movies
Dave.
exist, right? It's awesome. I love it. I think it does it so well. He's one of my favorites as far as doing that. I think, other than Mallrats, one of my other standout favorites that I think is such a great way to deliver the message in the movie is Dogma.
Oh, Dogma's, I think, hands down my favorite of all.
It's such a good job of taking such a serious subject and adding that lighthearted element to it. Like just
And he
lighten
got
up
so
people.
many death threats for that movie.
I love it. I think it's done it's so tastefully offensive, right? It just is.
It's offensive. It's not tastefully.
But I think it's like tastefully. It's done with this. There's this air of respect that he's like, I do acknowledge this, and I'm not totally crapping on it all, but this is how absurd it is. Like this is how absurd your like right wing view on it is.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Which I love about it, because I think that he's also acknowledging that like no, there's good that comes from this, but at the same time, when you only look at it through these lenses, it's ridiculous, and this is how it is. And I love that, and it's got like big name actors in it, and like it's great. It's one of my favorites.
To be fair, they weren't. Well, they were kind of just becoming big name at that point in time. So yeah.
So Jack's not here to transition into me, but my turn.
Oh sure.
Favorite movie? I totally agree. I have Blade Runner as my second favorite.
Okay.
And then I have Thor as
Thor
my
was
third.
my first.
Oh, it is your
or my
first.
second.
Your second? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Thor. I think it's something that's different and it's kind of fresh for what Marvel's done. I've been afraid that Marvel is going to fall into this mold that they just stick to, and they just keep doing the same formula over and over and over. And I feel like Thor Ragnarok broke that mold.
Yeah.
But, like, it was different. It did a lot of those classic things, which it has to be familiar again, but it can't be so, and then they can't branch out so far that
I
it
think that
alienates
is
people.
one of the things that's successful about the Disney movies is the fact that they are assuming that we're all familiar with the universe.
Totally. Well, and they have those back movies. They're like, we don't need to explain the whole lore
No.
of everything. You can go watch that first movie to figure
Exactly,
it out.
but they don't tell you why something's happening.
Yes, totally. There's all these little Easter eggs and stuff in there that allude to those previous movies. You can go flesh out that story by watching that one.
Exactly.
Yeah, which also is totally smart on their end because now you're going to go buy that Blu-ray to figure it out, right? Like, it's also this awesome... I give them, which I'm not mad about, total props to them for doing it that way. That's the way it should be done, right? But my top of the list, I acknowledge the movies you guys chose. They're amazing. Totally. Oh my God. Fate of the Furious. That movie is so good. That movie, when I go to the theater and I go see a movie, I want to be thoroughly entertained. I don't want to be like emotionally drained. I don't want like...
You were emotionally drained on that.
Oh
There's
my
no
God.
way somebody can giggle and grin, and as hard as you were
me
doing that,
and my
you
wife.
were crying
I
in
was
that movie.
literally tears running down my cheeks. My cheeks were so red. My eyes were bloodshot. My mouth hurt from the amount of laughing I did during that movie. That movie is so good.
I laughed watching that movie, then I turned and saw you and laughed even harder.
Yes, and it was awesome because there were moments when, because I'm sitting next to my wife watching this movie. This is one of the reasons I love my wife so much. But I turned to her and I looked. We didn't even have to say anything, and we're just like, right? And then just held our guts and rolled around laughing. That movie's so ridiculous.
Wait, have
and
you
awesome.
seen it since?
Incense?
No, like, have you seen the movie since?
Oh, seen it since. I have not because it's. I don't even know. Can you get it on?
No, it's out. I got it for my friend Bog Boy.
Oh, nice. I would love to watch it again. That movie. I love all of the Fast and Furious. I've seen all of them multiple times.
You know what her favorite one was for the longest time?
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is the diamond in the rough. It is.
It is.
Tokyo Drift
That
is what
movie's
established
so-
what all of the Fast and Furious are now.
Yes,
right?
that is true.
It's totally true. The first one was so serious and trying to be what they're not about. The second one was like just wrong. And then that third one came in and was so weird and off the wall that they were like, but that's the point. And then they just ran with it. And they're all amazing after that.
Drove with it.
My favorite part that still just cracks me up to even think about is when Toretto, the submarine explodes
And
as
they
he
all-
drives
and they all
over it.
freaking pour
And
in.
he's like, and he sees it go to explode and he's like, no. And there is that moment in the theater when you're like, Toretto can't die. Not Toretto. And then all of his cars come in and block the blast, the debris from the blast. And he's safe as he turns away and sees them all there. Just proud of him. It's all so good. That movie's so good. Watch it.
Oh, that's Toretto. Okay.
Yeah.
Dominic.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
The Fast and
He
Furious
made
are...
another Riddick. I didn't watch that one.
They made another one?
Yeah.
When was
It
that?
was a few years ago. It was more of like the first Riddick. I think it was almost looked exactly like the same one.
Oh.
Trapped on a planet. I think nighttime aliens.
Oh, okay.
It's all
Fair
right.
enough.
You want to segue us again?
Riddick, more like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Dang it, spoiled it. Best show. I realized looking at this...
Was there a new season this year? There was?
So I realized looking at this list that I didn't watch that many... I didn't watch much TV, other than, I think, Twin Peaks I really enjoyed. But I didn't want to keep it all current.
Wow,
I did actually finish Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I was wondering, actually.
Yeah. So I did. I haven't watched Fire Walk With Me or The Return yet, but when I finished Twin Peaks, it was like, had a crazy ending. But point is, I wanted to keep it current. And I was thinking, I'm like, Punisher was pretty good, but... And I didn't watch all of Always Sunny. I only watched a couple episodes. But, like, I was thinking, in this day and age...
season 12? Is that the newest one?
So.
Yeah.
In this day and age, when all these shows go on forever and they get worse, and all these shows try and insert all this either political correctness or political speech, I love the book American Gods. The show absolutely ruined by trying to make it political and topical and make it all about, like, I don't care about...
That said, have you seen the show Godless?
I haven't watched that
It
yet.
wasn't as political as I thought it was going to be.
It's freaking good. I'm not
It's like
super...
Western, right?
Yeah. I'm like
I've heard really mixed reviews about
I'm 4 episodes into it, and I'm actually digging it pretty good. It's...
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be this whole thing where it's like, men suck. And I don't...
They have that.
Like, I'm sick and tired of that.
But it's not clearly that.
But that's what American Gods is. It's just a bunch of, like, men suck, white people suck, and I'm like...
To be fair, the way they do it is she goes, I have feelings too, or have needs too. Same as you.
In the Godless.
Yeah.
I've only seen one episode, and I only kind of half watched it. I need to keep watching it.
You need to watch it and, like, pay attention.
Yeah.
But Godless,
I started watching...
That's my biggest flaw in everything. Pay attention.
I started watching it because my roommate's from Creed, Colorado.
Yeah.
And the very first scene, when I first just, I click on it, watch 10 minutes, see if it's something I'm going to like watching.
The first scene was good.
Oh, it was great. But I'm just saying, the first scene says Creed, Colorado. I was like, oh, I've been there. That's cool.
Yeah.
So 9,700 feet.
I can relate to this.
Exactly.
I think that show stands on its own in the fact that it's not trying to be this whole... Like, so many shows are just trying to get points, right? Like, political points. Like, we're just like... Just make good characters. That's my thing. If your character's a woman, I don't care. Yeah. If you make good characters, that's cool. That's what I like. I don't care if it's a girl or a guy or an alien. I don't care.
For me, the point of Horizon is totally that, right? It's an awesome character.
She doesn't brag like the whole time like, I'm a woman. Like, I don't care if she's a woman or a man. I just want it to be a good character. You can't have your character stand on what they were born with or the color of their skin. And that's what so many things are trying to do. And Always Sunny doesn't care. It's this.
To be honest, I think it does the opposite of that.
Yeah,
almost. Don't you think?
It's so funny in the fact that it's everything.
It totally
that's going
does
on.
do the opposite of that.
It does do the opposite of that. Yes,
I love it for that though.
Offensive and terrible, and it's just like
it's honest, right? Like
it's
brutally honest.
Yeah, I love it, and I think it
remember,
always.
remember,
did you see this season 12, the one where they're all black?
Yeah, the first one.
That cracked
like,
me up, man. That was such a funny
I haven't
episode.
seen that one.
That's hilarious. And the way that, because as you're watching the whole thing, it does this weird like social stereotype that we all kind of do, where you can't make fun of another race unless you're that race. Right? And so through the whole episode, they're black people. They're them, but they're being perceived as black people. They're like, oh, and they're like, so what's this magic thing that's happened? How do we get out of the puzzle? We need to like become better people somehow, or learn a lesson or something to be back to white people, right?
Wow.
And so, but the whole episode goes on, and you're like, this is so offensive.
Yeah.
And it boils down in the end to where it's like a dream the black guy has. So
just
now
this
suddenly,
random guy that they never explain, or at least not from what I've seen.
no,
just
I've never
there.
seen it before either. But suddenly, now that it's from this black guy's perspective, it's okay, right? It's like,
wow.
But I love how it does that,
Yeah,
because that's the way we do things in society. It's like, you can have an issue with a black guy if you're black. If you're white and you do, suddenly you're racist, right?
Yeah.
I just have an issue with him because he's a douche, right? It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with it being a black guy, but I love how they address that in the episode. It's great.
But yeah, Always Sunny.
I don't know. I like how they did it in Die Hard better.
And Die Hard is also good. Die Hard 3.
Yes.
With a vengeance.
Yes.
Yes.
In its 12th season, Always Sunny is still reaching new heights, and I have to give it props. For the few episodes I've seen, I'm still already impressed.
Yeah,
I
totally
need to watch the rest of it just because I laugh so hard.
It is really
Stupid
good.
Science bitches couldn't even make I'm More Smarter.
Yeah.
God, I haven't seen past
They're
season
so dumb and offensive.
It gets, just skip to like 8 or 9, or just skip around.
one. My buddy had bought the first season and other seasons too, but he gave me the first season. That's the only one I had.
First season it's kind of rough.
It's kind of funny. He let me borrow it, and then he just stopped talking to me for ever. So I still have it somewhere.
Yours. Yeah.
But But that was on, I think, VHS even.
Oh wow.
No, I loved that episode. I thought it was such a great breakout.
It's like a musical
episode for
too.
Yeah, it's like
It makes
it's so
no
weird.
sense. Yeah.
It's like so offensive, but so acceptably done. It's like
Yeah.
it was awesome. That episode is great. Me and my wife have watched that show and watched every season together. And when we saw that one, we were just laughing so hard. It's like this is so inappropriate, but so good.
Nice.
All right.
That
Next.
sounds
favorite-
like Sunny, Always Sunny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that was my favorite show.
Okay,
Nice.
so Jay, do you have a favorite show?
Oh, was Daredevil this year?
No.
No,
That was last
no
year.
Daredevils. We
No,
had
what-
Then it was Punisher then.
Iron Fist.
Iron
and
Fist, Defenders,
Yeah.
and Punisher. Those
It
are
is
your
Punisher
those
then.
are your big Netflix. That's your favorite?
I think Punisher was a runner-up. Or I think that was my second, because not really many.
I really loved Punisher. I loved the way it addressed some of the things it addressed.
I think my biggest issue with Punisher and a slight concern I have for how Netflix is going to keep doing them from here on out is Punisher felt formulaic to me. Like it felt like it did these classic things that some of the other ones have done, and I don't want them to fall into that too much. Like I want them to keep the shows different, right? Like even though Iron Fist sucks, it's totally different than the other.
Yeah, but the Punisher is done the same way though. I mean,
It's like they have that. They're falling. Maybe it's the origin thing. Maybe that's what it is. It's like they kind of went back to a little bit more of an origin where they went to his past. They have
Yeah.
the classic villain where it gives you reason to build up angst, and he's a buddy, but he's going to backstab you. It's like all these classic tropes that started to happen.
Yeah, that
I
also
really
happened
enjoyed
in
it.
Iron Fist.
Right, but it's like that's like the classic origin thing. I totally enjoyed it, and it's way better than Iron
I
Fist,
loved
for
it. The
sure.
way it was shot and the way that the lighting was done for each different thing. Like when he's in Punisher, when he's in kill mode, dude, the way it's shot.
Yeah, we did it. We did it for you. Yeah. We beat you to it. I can't
Yeah, I
believe
know.
we beat you to it.
I was gonna do it, but yeah. But I said, when he's in kill mode and doing that, it gets darker. It totally changes frame rate. Everything the action steps up. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that we hated about the way Iron Fist was shot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the filming in Iron Fist sucks.
Oh, everything about it except for the Daughter of the Dragon.
Yes.
Again, I will sign up, kick my ass. I will sign up for it. Please
cage
beat
fight.
me up. You don't even need a cage. I'll just be there. I'm not running anywhere.
Anyway. But like I said, every show has its own feel, its own look, and Jessica Jones has a very monochromatic, not necessarily dark, but just a monochromatic look to it.
Yeah.
Like you're looking through a black and white camera.
Yeah. The blue tint. She's the blue tint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a purple.
Yeah. A little more
Tungsten.
feminine.
Yeah.
It's more tungsten.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then Luke Cage. It is so stereotypical in everything it does,
Yeah.
and is shot that way, and is almost like we have to say yellowish,
Yeah.
hazed
And
everything.
I think that's also going back to the Always Sunny. The only reason that's okay is because it's all black people, right? Like that's
Okay,
why
so-
that's okay to
Yeah.
be that way.
Punisher, dark, brooding, always
Yeah.
brooding.
It's the black one. It totally is the black one out of
Yes.
it, don't you think?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And like I said, but you look at all these and the way they're all set up, it's.
Not to be confused with the black one as far as Luke Cage. That's a different type of black one.
I think we already established
Okay,
that.
just to be clear. I just want to make sure people
we're
understand.
clear.
Okay.
We're very clear.
I love them both. The one I don't like is Iron Fist.
Yes. And I don't think it's the actor's fault at all.
I don't think
I
so either.
really don't think so.
I think it's the way his
Underworld Iron
character is
Fist.
written. Yeah. Here's my business card.
Exactly.
Don't tell people.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But no, I love the way that the Punisher was shot. I mean, that's like the way it was shot. When he's Frank Castle, there's a light air to it. It's actually more Jessica Jones in the coloring, but it's just has more color to it. Everything's
Yeah.
lighter and airier. He's a personable character, and I love how he played this personable character both ways. I mean, he was believable in both characters.
Yeah.
In both personas, and it was
Like
wow.
when he went to
It's
when
like-
he was with Micro and then his wife, like it was
Yeah.
two different people, but at the same time. It's
But
like
it
the
wasn't
same.
two different people. I mean,
Yeah.
that was Frank Castle, and it's Frank Castle the other way too, and it's believable that way. It's just
It did have some real like almost Jekyll and Hyde moments.
yes,
In it, but I totally agree. Those were good.
But they, and like I said with the last time I did the review on it, they take a magnifying glass, a microscope to it. everything that they do is amplified.
Microscope?
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was a good one.
He's getting better. He's
is.
getting better.
he is, but they take a magnifying glass or microscope to it and amplify everything that they're doing. So they were focusing on the whole PTSD thing.
Yeah.
Right, and they really address the PTSD and how that affects people, and it does affect people that way, and it's obviously blown bigger than I think it actually is.
Yeah.
But it's something that needs to be addressed, and they address it and how this is what he does. This is why he's that way.
Well, and like
it's not solely just because his family died.
No, well, like you're saying, it's a show of extremes.
Yes.
And I think that the extreme of even their PTSD side of it is very extreme. And one of the things I had wondered, which I wish he was here to actually talk on it, I'll have to get more specific with him, but my brother did 2 tours in the military. He was a Marine and saw some crazy stuff, right? And I'd wondered how he would take it, right? Because this is a very extreme version of how that could impact somebody. And as far as I've heard from him and his wife even about that, he watched it and absolutely loved it and it was all totally cool with him. So it's the only impression I have as far as the actual military person, but I was interested to hear that.
Well, season 2
somebody
will have to
cared
come
about
on and
and
talk
absolutely
with
get
us.
some impression. And I want to talk to him more about it just anyway, this season 1. But I was pleased to hear that he also liked it. Because I wondered if, because even going back to the Luke Cage thing, when I played online with my black friends, right, the first thing that happened when we were talking about Luke Cage was they were like, "What'd you think of it?" And I was like, I really like it and it's good. The only thing I thought was that it's and then right as I went to say black, all of them chimed in and were like, "Black!" right at the same time. They're like, "You said it! You were that guy, whatever." It was like, but it kind of was, right? They all said, "Yeah, it totally was."
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally was.
I would say
There's nothing wrong with saying that because it totally was.
Yeah, my
right?
friend Stefan was the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing.
But I was wondering if the Punisher would be the same way as far as how military people would take it. Do you find it offensive in any way because of how they perceived it? So
All 2 ex-military people that I've talked to, neither one of which has done a tour overseas, said that it was very accurate in that respect and was very tastefully.
Yeah.
Handled it well.
I guess I didn't really consider the whole kind of Jekyll and Hyde side of it as much, really, until you kind of said that now. And really thinking of it that way is almost like 2 characters as opposed to just the one.
Yeah.
I do like that. I like that part of it because it's very obvious in the show when you watch it. I would, if I ranked them, the Netflix shows, I think I would put Punisher. Man, it's a tough one. I think I would put Daredevil season 2. Totally favorite. Right?
Daredevil season 2 is by hands down 1. That's why I was going to say if that was
Totally
this year.
favorite.
Totally.
I think my next is Jessica Jones. I really enjoy Jessica Jones. I think it's an awesome way to introduce her. Again, one of those things that kind of turned me on to that female protagonist is she's a badass, right?
Yeah.
She's gross and disgusting. She's not the typical I'm pretty, whatever, that kind of.
I'm more excited for season 2 Jessica Jones than I was for season 1. I loved season 1.
Yeah.
But I think I would put Punisher above season 1 Jessica Jones.
Okay, I was gonna say I think it might be my next one. It's tough for me as far as the I think it's better than Luke Cage. I'm just gonna say it. I like Luke. I do like Luke Cage.
I love
also,
Luke
really,
Cage.
the one that stands out for me as bad is
I just
Iron Fist,
was
right?
and honestly,
Defenders isn't that great either. It has
I
good
think-
moments at least though. Iron Fist doesn't really have good. Okay, Daughter of the Dragon. I take that back. Yeah. But Iron Fist, there's no good Iron Fist moments. That show sucks.
Yeah.
It's not good.
just use your powers. Anyway,
Yeah.
God.
but yeah. And do you think that maybe that the Luke Cage one is just the level of relatability? Oh, jeez, hiccup. I might have had a little much.
What do you mean? That we
Just
can't relate
just
as much?
like we don't we put it below that just because we can't relate to it as well.
I don't know, because that's one of the things that I really like about it.
Yeah.
Is that it comes across so much that way, right? That
Well, I'm sorry. I have nothing to base a personal connection to Harlem.
yeah, no, me either. I don't at all. But
Not me.
Black Harlem,
I
you know what I'm
grew
saying?
up in the street. No, just
yeah,
kidding.
clearly. I mean,
mean-
But no, I'm just saying I have.
no, and I don't really either. Totally, I don't.
You know.
But I like that that they did that, right? That they owned it as what it was, and that I guess that they made it that way. It was one of the things that I took away from it and thinking, I think that's great. I think that it's really awesome that they owned it as that. Maybe Iron Fist also owned it as what it was. I just didn't care for it. Right? Like the thing that they were trying to own, it was like, I don't like it.
I've got some of the Iron Fist comics, and he's nothing like what he is at all. At
Stoic.
all. Yeah, he's very stoic.
Yeah.
So, and he's not this in
He's like someone to almost like look up to in that respect as a hero, not to like,
so
not to go,
now,
what the hell?
Now, Iron Fist finished production and went straight into Defenders.
Yeah. I've wondered if that was an issue.
So, they've already had all the critical review and everything's coming back, and everybody panned Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Nobody liked it.
No. With good reason.
Yes. So, do you think that after the next Iron Fist, they've already said they're going to have another Iron Fist?
Yeah. I think that's this next year. I think we get Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil next year.
So do you think
more Daredevil?
Do you think they're going to address that now in the next one?
I don't know. I'm wondering. I think it's time for him to grow up for sure. There's way too much time that's gone by for culture shock. That's over.
Yes.
Get over it, dude. Right? Yeah. So I don't know, but I totally agree. I really enjoyed Punisher this year. It was really good.
I
What was your
love
favorite
Punisher.
show?
This is one I kind of struggled with a little bit. For me, I totally agree that Netflix had some stellar shows. I think that American Vandal, I really enjoyed American Vandal. That was your recommendation.
Yeah.
You had mentioned it to me. I went in to watch it. I think it's a show that instantly when you watch it, you can perceive it as this very kind of juvenile show. That maybe you as an adult with kids or something, or whatever, just an older person wouldn't care for. But the more you watch it and the way those kids portray their characters is it's some of the best acting I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like the main guy who gets just douched on in the movie and gets accused of everything.
Yeah.
And that moment when he realizes who he actually is as a person and he's never watched himself before, when he's watching The American Vandal, I thought that moment was so impactful in that show. Like that was done so super well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other moments that are that way. So I think that's totally worth watching. A lot of credit for that for Netflix. Did you have something? Your drum rolling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw the previews on, I think it was Netflix.
Yeah. Of what?
The new season of The Ranch is out.
Oh my god.
Move on.
Yeah, move on.
It was freaking.
Oh my god.
It
I'm
actually
not
looks
even
pretty.
gonna
Looks
watch
a
it.
lot
I'm not
better.
even talk about it. Another. There's a couple more Netflix ones. I just thought I would talk on them, right? Because we're talking Netflix, not The Ranch.
Hey, the last season was actually
Oh my
very
God. It was
drama-filled, but
not-
kind of funny.
It's not good.
Just keep going. Keep going.
The other one, I think that's totally worth checking out.
It grows on you. Trust me.
I expected to watch this with my wife, and again, the female protagonist thing that this year was really a big transition for me as far as that goes. Was Glow.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys
especially-
have seen Glow.
In a little bit.
I really enjoyed Glow. I thought the acting was done really, really well. It's based on a lot of based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that means. But I really enjoyed it. Get another Netflix one. Another one was Mindhunters from Netflix that I really enjoyed. That has to do with the first two cops that are FBI agents, and it's they're the first two people to profile serial killers. They actually come up with the term serial killer, and it had never been done before, and how it affects these people personally to actually go to like prisons and interview. It never deals with actual serial killers killing somebody. It's more the outside looking in as what that is and breaking that down so they can profile them and maybe stop serial killers from, maybe they don't kill 20 people, they only kill 2 and we stop them by then. Or we can see precursors to this could lead into something bad, right? And there's a lot of like modern twists in there as far as what they're predicting people would do. Where like now they never get away with that. That's not okay at all.
Yeah.
But because the show takes place in the 70s, it's more acceptable for people to do these kind of weird things, and it's not perceived as something that could lead into a weird creeper thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the 70s. You get to do weird shit. But that one's also worth checking out. But my absolute favorite from the year that I've seen, I think like 3 times now, I really recommend it, is the show called Legion. And it is, it's on FX. It's,
My roommates love that show.
it's so good, man. It's,
How many Marvel or
I've only seen the last
X-Men
episode.
shows are there now? Isn't there like
There's a
3?
ton of they're garbage. I watched The Gifted. I watched like four episodes. I don't like it. I watched The Runaways. I don't even know what the hell's going on in that show. That show is the worst, worse than The Last Jedi. The pacing in that show sucks. I can't stand it. I don't even care what happens to them because they don't even care. Like I just don't care about it.
Yeah.
They're garbage.
And then Inhumans as well.
And I haven't seen Inhumans yet. But Legion is so good. It's got it's done by the same people who did Big Lebowski. It's the first official collaboration between Fox and Marvel Studios. They came together, worked together to make Legion. It's on FX. It so shows in the show. The way that Big Lebowski ties music into all of the scenes and the way that the scenes play out, and there's this like awesome song.
That's what Baby Driver is.
Like, is it?
Yeah.
I need to
Baby
check it out
Driver.
then, because for me that's one thing that makes a movie or a show really appealing is when the music is relevant. The first season of iRobot does a really good job of doing that. There's some moments where there's awesome music in that show, and then something terribly traumatic and like it'll get real all of a sudden, and the music will just cut. And now you just get like gasps and like things that people are doing and real world sounds, and then it'll build back into crazy music because they get crazy or whatever. And those moments I think are so impactful in a show, and Legion does that over and over and over again, and they do it really, really well. I'm super excited for the next season of it. Really recommend it. Even if you don't know about X-Men or any of it.
I've only seen the last episode, so.
And one of the other reasons why I like it is because it has Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords in it as one of the main characters. And he's a character that like gets stuck in his own brain, and he's like created his own little icebox world that he lives in. So he's like a lunatic and kind of crazy, and he's always doing all these things that are super ideal for him. And it's like he plays Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords, but totally relevant in the world he's in. It's so awesome and so musically driven. It's really, really good. I totally recommend checking it out. You don't have to be an X-Men fan. You don't have to be a Marvel fan. It kind of stands on its own. It's really, really good. Weird, trippy, Big Lebowski. If you love that movie, you'll love the show. It totally fits in that wheelhouse.
I didn't know what was going on when I was watching it. So.
And that's like Big Lebowski, right? Like when you watch Big Lebowski, there's so many moments where it's like, what the hell is going on? Because you're exploring this weird mind trip that's going on in Jeff Bridges at that moment, right? And that's how this show is. It's about I think it's the son of Professor X, who is Legion, and he has these insane, and Professor X isn't aware of it. He's not aware that he's his son. He has these insane mental powers. He can just pretty much do whatever he wants.
But like 3 different personalities.
Yeah, and it's like, and the way it works is he has all these different personalities, so he is crazy, but each personality has a different power, and there's like hundreds of them within him, and they start to manifest as the show goes on, and even he doesn't know what's going on. He's always been told he's crazy, and he's always medicated to subdue it and whatever. And so it's him like breaking out of that shell, exposing you to this crazy world that he lives in his brain that always has kick-ass music and like the way it unfolds. It's like really cool. He's a lunatic, but I love how it all happens. It's really, really good. I recommend checking it out. Segue.
For that, he has you liked American Gods?
I did like American Gods. I thought it was, but I've never read the book, so I don't know.
Totally different.
But I liked the way some of the characters were portrayed, and I enjoyed how just weird and trippy some of the moments were. Kind of maybe like Legion. They weren't so musically driven, but there were some weird, really weird moments in that show. And I liked the way that I liked the idea of the old gods like losing their power and going away because there's these new gods that come in, and I liked that the new gods were like digital technology and things,
gods of media.
Things like that. I like the way they interacted in the show.
I know us nerds of the modern age don't read much, but I don't really read much, but American Gods was a total blast all the way through. I love Neil Gaiman's writing style, and I think the show just kind of butchered it.
I would like to read the comics.
It's a book.
Is it a book, or is there actual comics? I thought there were comics too. Maybe it is just a book.
No, it's just a book.
Okay. There's no
I know,
graphic
it's
novel
even
version.
harder.
It is harder. There's no pictures to keep me engaged.
But American Gods, great novel, and it's going to ruin the show for you. But speaking of anime, My Hero Academia. I think
that's your best.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I already saw Psycho Pass. I didn't watch the second season, but it's because I couldn't. I don't know. Something about My Hero is just. it's really captivating. It's got a really awesome lore. I love all the heroes.
I love hearing you say
I
all
love
those things.
It's
Eraserhead.
definitely my number 2.
I'm started.
Eraserhead is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I like Eraserhead.
Yes, me
I'm
too.
in the second season now in the tournament, and I'm learning about the Ice and Fire guy and how his dad only he basically sort of selectively bred him to have these powers.
Yeah.
And he only once used his flame hand. He's like, I'm never gonna use that again. You can see his dad all mad.
Yeah.
And
That
All
character
Might-
is so cool.
Yeah,
It
and
really
All Might
is.
is like slow. He's just struggling to stay alive and stay like happy and like I don't know. So I mean, sometimes it's so slow when it's like just hit the thing or just do the thing. Don't say you're gonna do the thing. I will defeat you. You know,
Yeah.
just
The
do
one,
it.
the one,
Classic anime
the one thing that I love about My Hero is the fact that they have the main protagonist that every anime has. That's always, I'm struggling to make the top because of this, and you're always pulling for him. And then they introduce all these other guys that,
Yeah.
like, wow, and they give them a real reason that you want them to succeed too.
Yeah, it's the supporting cast.
Yeah,
Totally is.
Yeah. And
Such a
I'm
valid
interested to
supporting
hear
cast.
more about that bird guy because he's.
I love that ghost bird thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just finished the one
shadow
where they had
thing?
like they were all teamed up and they had to like keep their hands on each other.
Yeah.
And everyone's powers are also creative and unique, and it's really cool to see them utilized together. Like when Bakugo like jumps, he's like getting all pissed or whatever. I think that's his name, Bakugo.
Yeah.
He like jumps and punches someone, and the tape guy has to like reel him back, like literally, because he's just crazy. And
I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's totally one of my favorites.
but yeah, and
Yeah,
all
well,
the
he's the Vegeta
all the
character.
heroes
He is the Vegeta
are
character.
so cool. And
There's a sweet throwdown between him and the ice guy.
oh,
Yeah,
as it
it
keeps
is.
coming.
It's-
That's really, really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
My favorite is how that tournament between them ends. Like Bakugo is so
Oh, yeah.
pissed at how that ends, but
Oh.
it's so awesome. I don't
Well,
think
I
I
mean, I
ruined
think he's-
anything, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's so good. You got to get to it,
Yeah, I think he's.
right? Like
Yeah.
it just. I remember when
He succeeded, but he's pissed that he succeeded.
It's like so the way it all
'Cause I know
boils down
it's
is
gonna be
like
Bakugo
oh, I love him.
and Deku at the top because Bakugo is fighting the ice guy, right? Or is it?
You sure about that?
Yeah, you have to
totally
keep watching.
forgot.
It's really,
Yeah.
really good.
Well,
I don't want to
yeah.
ruin it for you, but it's really
And
good.
I love how he's still getting his power, and I love the hand guy. I really want to know more about him.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy that
He'll come
the
into
necro
play.
guy that like,
Yeah.
just decays everything.
Yeah.
That's so
When he
weird.
decayed Eraserhead's elbow,
Yeah,
and
he's
you
like-
just see his muscle stuff underneath, and it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, My Hero, and I think it's a really fresh take. But I think equal to that for me, but didn't come out this year, or I didn't watch it this year. One Punch Man. I think
Yeah.
One Punch Man is just a stellar, just so weird, so aware of
It doesn't.
itself.
One Punch Man doesn't have. It's awesome, and I
Yeah.
totally agree. It's like way up there as my favorites. But the substance that My Hero has,
Yeah.
I think,
It-
outweighs One
it's
Punch
sort of
Man.
the
for me.
opposite, whereas like
It's
everyone
not-
else
it's Flash.
matters.
It's all Flash.
Everyone's like equal to him, or he has to overcome. It's like this is the total opposite. It's like when you reach that point in anime where you're like, I'm just the best now.
Yeah,
Nothing can stop me.
yeah.
And he's just he's kind of an asshole. Like in that first episode when there's
Such
that
an,
giant,
like an ignorant asshole.
Yeah,
right?
like-
Like, he's not even aware of it.
like the city is destroyed so many times, or there's so many catastrophes, and he's just like, but he wants it to happen, and he like lets it happen more, just so that the guy can build up the power so he can hit him once. He's like, I killed him,
Yeah.
and the big guy falls on the city and destroys more stuff. I don't know. It's funny.
My favorite One Punch Man moments are when he changes from the like goofy
Yeah.
guy
The weirdly detailed.
to like the instantly like now I've got all these muscles and my suit fits and
Yeah.
like right instead of pajamas
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
Those moments are my favorite. Again, it's the Jekyll and Hyde, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jay? What's your favorite anime from this year that we watched?
Oh boy.
Don't look at my list.
I really want to say Cowboy Bebop, but that's just a given.
I feel like that way about so many we watched this year. Like it's like a Metal Gear Solid 5 thing. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you can't say it.
Exactly. I think I'm just gonna go with Last Exile on that one.
But I
Last
felt that
Exile?
same way about that
I know.
one. I was like, I can't say that one. I felt that way about Cowboy Bebop,
Well, don't say you
Futurama,
can't say it.
and Last Exile.
Futurama. We're
Right?
still doing.
I don't
that.
care. It was one of our monthly.
It was an
animes.
animation.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll just finish the word anime.
To me, those are like they are amazing, right?
Yeah.
Totally. But I've seen them before, so I didn't want to. I struggled. to
Yeah.
pick them.
Okay. So not choosing those.
I mean, you can
if-
pick whatever you
well,
want.
if
but
you
I
haven't
struggled
seen
with
them, I
it.
think that's the thing.
Those are ones I've watched before and
Oh.
we revisited again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, well, okay. Excluding those, I'm gonna have to go My Hero then.
My Hero, because you
Yeah.
hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say that because I've watched My Hero twice, and then I watched it again when we watched it now. My Hero is one of those shows I just put on to have a show going.
Oh, if we're doing that,
I can't. That's why I can't count it, because I've already, before we watched it,
Okay,
I'd
so-
already watched
okay.
it
Yeah.
through twice.
so if we're not counting it that way, then I'm gonna say Dimension W.
That was last year.
Was it
That was the
Dimension
year
W?
before. Yeah. I wanted to say that one too.
Damn
That's
it.
the only reason I know. Because I totally agree that show was amazing. I think-
Okay, well then back to My Hero. Damn it.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Well, and I think I probably stole one because for me, I chose my favorite that was new and I hadn't seen before was Death Note. But you'd seen that one before.
Yes.
That was one you recommended.
Have you guys watched Hunter x Hunter yet?
No?
I've
No.
heard good things. It might have to be our next one.
All right.
Okay, I like it. Make a note.
Yeah.
I like your little, like, boob creature.
No, it's my ass goblin. It's it's the enemies of my D&D campaign.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like,
Okay, we
it
need
looks
to
like a
watch
boob man.
My Hero and Space Dandy. I think.
no, Hunter
Hunter
x
x
Hunter.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter,
My
and
mind.
what's the other one?
Space Dandy.
Space Dandy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm into that. I liked. I thought Psycho-Pass was good. I actually appreciated Psycho-Pass after watching season 2.
Yeah, I need to catch up now that I have premium.
I really thought season 2 kind of brought it all full circle and made season 1. If you liked season 1, season 2 made it even better.
Made season 1 better.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. It made season 1 even
Yes.
better. It
Season
really
2
did.
didn't get better, but
No,
season 1
but
was.
it
Yeah.
really emphasized how good season 1 was.
Yes.
And that's not to discredit season 2, because I appreciated that season 2 was different. I think there's a really awesome time period change that happens in season 2 that I
Yeah.
really appreciated about it. But as far as the ones that were new for me, totally Death Note. I think Death Note,
Watch that.
it
See, that was
really,
that's one of the first animes that I watched to get into anime.
and I've never seen it before, and it was
Yeah.
something I would never have watched because it's not
I should say
action
re-get into
anime.
anime because I mean we got the anime from our childhood.
Yeah.
You know, the Voltron and the
Yeah.
and the Macross and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which was Robotech at that time. It wasn't Macross,
Yeah.
the Americanized version.
Totally, right. Like Voltron.
Yeah.
But I think that Death Note highlights how much storytelling can go on in a cartoon without always being super visually engaging. Like, it doesn't have to
But it's
just
still
revolve around that.
but
It does.
But it's still a classic battle manga.
It is, and it totally is, and it has those things. But like it's the cat and mouse. It's the cat and
Yeah.
mouse game that happens in Death Note that I just loved, and I just like I hungered for it as it kept going on. I was like, I can't wait to see how they battle that out throughout this whole thing. It's not rage and get pissed and have this like crazy energy aura and throw my anger, which a ton of animes do, right? Or a big gun or some sort of a beam or
Sword,
blast
gun,
or whatever, right?
power up,
It's totally
Kaioken.
it's a battle of the minds,
Yeah.
which is only internalized between them, between this like silent monologue that they have between each other. And I just
Yeah, but it's all. Yeah, it's everything is the internal monologues.
yeah, that's what I like. Nobody else
And
is
as you're
aware of
watching
what's
it,
going on.
all you're hearing is the internal monologues. Of
Yeah.
everything. Well, not
And I-
only, but for the most part.
And I loved that because that was never really an avenue of an anime that I considered that would be appealing to me.
And it's something I recommended to you, like when we first started doing this.
Yeah, well, and again, it was like I don't want to watch that. There's nobody gets pissed and like throws their rage around, right? And they do in it. By the end of it, the dude's a lunatic.
Yes.
Right, and I love how he goes from totally this like self-aware and like wanting to be a good person and doing all these awesome positive things, and then just turns into this overly self-inflated just
Yes.
like crazy person by the end of it. But like that process that happens throughout that show
in the
is
way
amazing.
that in the way that he brings L down, but L doesn't quite fully fall. But it is because he doesn't quite fully fall that he doesn't come out on top.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, it's such an awesome show. I've never watched an anime because of the character development in that way, right?
Yeah.
In the way that I think it's really unique. It's different, and it's kind of opened my eyes to exploring different animes, and not necessarily labeling them right away as something I wouldn't watch. Right, because of watching Death Note. So I give it so much props for that.
Nice.
So, totally Death Note, my number 1. Check it out, worth it. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of brings us to the end, right?
I think so.
Is that our year 2007? We
2007.
17. I think we ran long enough.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
appreciate everybody watching everything throughout 2017. It's been awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks to the kids in band. I went to the band concert, and all these kids came up being like, "Oh, your podcast's so cool." I'm like, "Thank them."
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
No, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You are part of the podcast.
And they probably wouldn't have said that if it wasn't for you.
I don't know. Well, I guess I'm the social media boy. I'm like
There
one of
you
the
go.
new gods. You're the gods. of the-
That's right. We're the old gods.
yeah. Read
Old guard.
The book is so good.
I might have to check it out.
I have
I'm so
all
scared by so many words on a page.
They're good words.
As has been illustrated throughout 2 years of this now.
Right? It's true. It's true. It's going to be my
scary
next
words.
thing. I'm tackling hurdles slowly, one at a time. I will leap over them. That'll be one of my next ones.
Okay.
All right.
So my brew. Just kidding. My I just said Jack.
Is it time for the last wrap up? Is it beer wrap up?
Wow, it is. Okay.
2017.
Awkward
Oh.
sec.
The Henry Weinhard's root beer? It feels a little watered down.
Like
It
you
doesn't
said
leave
that last
much of an
time.
aftertaste. It almost leaves like a bad, gross morning mouth aftertaste.
That's not good.
Yeah, like a bad
Sounds
breath.
like a Henry Weinhard's
So
beer.
not like toothpaste.
No.
That would be the opposite.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's weird. I like it. I just wish that that flavor stayed there long enough, and it also was a little more like root beery. Like it feels like they just watered it down so they could make more.
Yeah.
But it's a good taste, but it's not. Feels like it's missing stuff. So I solid 6. Better than
Do you
okay.
remember what you gave it the first
No,
time?
I didn't.
This isn't
rate
one
either of
you've
these
had
ones.
before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I had it the first time, and then I didn't. I just never rated it because I was. Yeah.
Should I go?
Go ahead.
First off, I gave this an 8. And we did run long on this episode, so I think this has gotten warmer than I'm typically used to. And I'm going to say something I've noticed. And as we do these episodes, I notice different nuances in beers that tend to kind of move to the forefront of my next beers I drink, right? And one of them is the astringent alcohol taste of beer. And I have to say this one's kind of done that a little bit to me. That's like
Okay.
a 2017 thing, I think. Is
For you, yeah, that's
to keep it that way. It's something I've really started to notice. It was the downfall of the space dust, right? I think
Yeah.
that was something that really
well.
became
It
obvious.
is 7.5%.
Okay. Which
So-
is kind of starting to hit that upper range, right?
Yeah, that's definitely acceptable range to have the alcohol.
Yeah. And I think that the space dust was that like a 2000? Was that this year thing or was that a last year?
I think it was this year thing that it went down for you.
Yeah, that I really started to notice that alcohol taste, and I'm noticing a little bit in this. If you drink it quicker and you don't get to that point, maybe that's what I've noticed is I
Slam it.
need to drink my
Yeah.
booze quicker.
Just drink more.
Right? Maybe
To-
it's
to-
me.
to-
It's my
to be-
problem.
To be fair, we're almost 2 hours into this.
That's right.
And you've only had one bomber.
That's true. So I gave it an 8 before. I think I might give it like a 7 now, based on just that alcohol flavor. I think it might lose a
Wow.
point
Solid
because
7?
of that.
That is definitely your thing this year.
It really is
Yeah,
my thing
just
this year.
ruin
I even made a
everything.
note of it when I see right here the year of alcohol taste. I wrote it on my list.
Wow.
So it's something I've noticed, and I will keep noticing it. I think 2016 was the yeasty,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. This year it's the
It's
alcohol.
yeasty.
It's yeasty,
It's
guys.
too yeasty.
Yeah, it's too yeasty. This one, it's too alcohol.
I used alcohol
Which is
in
a
my
terrible
alcohol.
thing to have an issue
Yeah.
with when you're drinking alcohol,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
What about you, Jeremiah?
We never scored our meads
Oh.
because they're all amazing in their own way. And all uniquely
Is this going
different.
to be the first score?
I don't know. Out of his meads, I'm gonna say this one's an 8.5.
An 8.5?
Out of his meads that I've had that I like. And
Wait,
about-
so you're basing it
or
off of his.
out of meads in general, I should say.
Oh, okay.
His definitely are the best. And
You know what I would say that is a really big...
I don't want to say amazing because there's always room for improvement. I don't want him to get too big of a head.
Yeah, right? We want Eric to keep
Unlike
improving.
me.
We love it, Eric, but we want
Yes.
you to keep doing better.
Exactly. I want to see him succeed. I really do.
Yeah. No, me too, totally. When I was going to say, when I went into the
awesome guy.
brewery,
He is. He's a really awesome guy.
the meadery, he had this bottle that was just kind of the dregs of everything he had made throughout the year, and he just mixed it all together in this bottle. And he was like, "You should try this. People always notice different notes about it." And so it was me and a bunch of other people in the meadery, and when I went to taste it, I was like, "Hey man, I have to compliment you because yeah, it has these different flavors, but it's really balanced. Like, even though it's this mix of all these different things, there's nothing in this that's super abrasive or offensive about any of it. Even though it was all these different kinds that he had made and mixed together.
He tends to make sweeter things.
He's playing like 20 cents
very
ahead.
balanced.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest compliments I think we can give to. It doesn't have to be meat; it can be beer. Like anything we're drinking on the show, to say that it's really well balanced is a huge compliment.
Which is something that we said when we did the Rogues. Is they were consistently the same. Firestone is another one that we've gone to consistently, and they're consistently they're unique, distinct beers, but each one of them has their own is balanced within its own style.
Yeah, well, and even with the Rogues, I would say there's some extremes that go on there with Rogues where they're not as balanced, but they make you fully aware of that if you read what they're advertising.
Yes,
right. Which I think that's different in that respect. But as far as Eric and Aesir. I'm gonna work on it, Eric. I promise.
Aesir.
There you go. Aesir. I probably messed it up again already. But as far as all of his meads go, they're so balanced. They really are. Even though one is like totally a sour one, or one is a licorice one, or one's a coffee one. Okay. There's such a good balance in between some.
The sour plum. I had half a bottle of that left.
Yeah.
And he made a traditional not too long ago, which was just a straight honey. I blended it 2/3 of the sour with 1/3 of the honey on it. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, but again, is that a compliment that you can mix them like that? Like, how many beers or other alcohols can you take where you're like, I got 1/3 of this
Blue
bottle,
Ribbon,
this
Bud
one.
Light.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, I was saying the sour, if you drink it cold, the sour is harsh and hits you like a battering ram.
Yeah.
If you warm it up a little bit, it mellows it out a lot, and it's a little easier to drink. But I don't like to warm my stuff up all the time.
Yeah.
And I was just looking to quick downage on it, and I had poured a full glass of the sour plum and took a swallow of it, and was like, "Whoa!" I forgot quite how intense that was.
Yeah,
I should have.
And it is. It's like a Sour Patch Kid. Like, that thing hits you in the face.
You should have done a small sip and then the bigger sips to follow. But I just went big sip right away, and so I grabbed my other one in and went. Topped the glass back off with that big quaff, and then drank it from then on. I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And just that little bit mellowed out so much. And I think it almost brought out the barrel flavors that you get from the barrel-aged plum even better. So
nice.
I don't know. And it was really good. So
I personally take that as a compliment. If I were him, I would take that as a compliment. That you can mix, that you can totally like... get crazy mad scientist with it.
It's like they're all part of a series.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Well, they are, and he just recently did the blackberry, to which I drank 2 bottles straight in.
Also really good, apparently.
Followed by a coffee and the last of my sarsaparilla and the last of my other citrus and the last of my... Anyway.
Hence 2017, the year of mead.
It was a good night.
Yeah.
Bad morning, but good
night. Can't remember it. As far as I remember, it was a good night.
No, I remember it all.
All right.
So let's do this one last time. To another year of episodes. This has been loads of fun. Thank you guys for joining me on Nerdy Endeavors. It's been awesome. Keep fueling nerd fires. Thanks, Jack, for joining us.
Thank you, Jack.
For letting me be here.
Yes, you're welcome.
We love you. Okay, now do your job. Shut up. To all the nerds,
through all the fuzz, bottoms up, let's get Nerdbuzzed.
Talking about beer, talking about nerd culture.
It's over.
You're
Go
on
home.
Nerdbuzzed.
That's right, the year's done.
Yeah, you're done. It's over.
Marcus and Jeremiah. You're on Nerdbuzzed.
We'll talk about that.
Ready.
Okay. You want to just make that
Let's
one
get
one?
Nerdbuzzed.